Hey, it's the Bennington Show on a Tuesday. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I am Ron Bennington, starting it off with Greg Allman. That one was a shocker because we just got that call the other day from Johnny that he was down on the Hard Rock, according to Johnny, pushing people out of the way, which I loved hearing.
I was so surprised to hear that. And like, it was the same thing. It was like, how strange that we just got that story from him.
Yeah.
It's like another big rock loss.
Dude, I heard from so many people that were crushed over the weekend, people that I grew up with, family members. Quite frankly, I think this should be an entire musical salute all week to Mr. Greg Allman. Allman Brothers were all the way through. I actually got in this debate with my brother. My brother said most people would pick the Grateful Dead as best jam band, and then, as he put it, heard one song, heard them all. He's all Allman Brothers. I didn't even know it was debatable. I always thought we were all on board as a nation, and maybe even a planet, that Allman Brothers were the jam band.
Are they often pitted against each other in that way? I
don't know, but there's not a lot that you're going to throw up there as jam bands,
right? But
such great players on the Allman Brothers, just such great players. And when you go back, if you realize how young Greg Allman was doing these things, when his voice sounds like a 60-year-old black man, and he's like a 19, 20, and 21-year-old white kid.
Yeah, he was like much younger than everyone else in the group, right?
I don't know if that's true, but I know Dwayne was his older brother. But when they made some of those original records, he was very, very young at the time. But this is always the weird thing for me, because the Allman Brothers would come every spring and play at the Beacon for over a month. The love affair that New York City had with those Southern boys for going back well over 40 years, when they would come in and play for Bill Graham. And they were really, really strange. I mean, there was no such thing as like a kind of a Southern hippie when the Allman Brothers came out. It just didn't exist. You were either a redneck down south or you were a hippie up north. But they were the first ones that were like, yeah, we do mushrooms and we like to play guitars. You know what I mean? Like but at the same time, they'd punch you in the face. But truly, truly one of the great bands of all time. And
kind of one of those Southern rock bands that made, I think, country more palatable to rock fans,
Yeah, but they weren't, when you hear that song, you're like, oh, that's country roots, but their early stuff was just blues.
Yeah.
Just really, those were one of those bands that I'd be like, who did they just bring up? Who are they talking about? They love that music. Hey, James, what's up?
Yeah, Ronnie B, Gail, and crew. I love that band since the early '70s, and been seeing them since the early '70s, and all the different variations and forms, and just those shows at the Beacon. I happened to be there one night in the 40th anniversary run with Boss Skaggs, and he came out and played Blow Me a Dime with them, and just that music has been with me my entire life.
Hey, did you ever see him with Dwayne?
I went to a festival, Ronnie, back in '71 called the Powder Ridge Festival in Connecticut, and I just went on the wrong day. I didn't really know who they were at the time. I mean, I knew of them, but I went on a different day to the festival, and so the first time I saw them, Barry Oakley was still alive, and but not Dwayne. And I think about it all the time. I still have that stupid poster, Powder Ridge Festival. but never got to see Dwayne live.
Yeah, me neither. Thanks so much for calling, buddy.
Yeah, take care.
That's it. When you even think that band was able to not only stay together but thrive without the guitar god who formed the band, the leader of the band, who was the sound of the band, it's hard to even believe. Greg Allman, I had Greg on the show once, and this was one of those few people like, Jesus Christ, Greg Allman's coming down the hall. But he's a very tough interview, right? And I just felt like, oh, man, that didn't, we didn't connect because it was really, pulling teeth with him. And then I got so many emails and it got put up. The interview was put up on some Allman Brother fan site, like, oh my God, he really opened up. And I'm like, really? Because I felt like there was like, a lot of shores and guessos. And then I was supposed to have him in again. And it was a after show booking. And I'd walked down to the restroom and I heard someone puking in the stall. And Greg came out and he had it, he had it right out. But he had that liver transplant that I guess hit him every once in a while. But it was weird. He was a very different kind of rock star because it seems like he wasn't driven at all. And yet, obviously, you can't get that much done without being somewhat of an ambitious person. And, just shooting your body around the country to be in all these shows. But truly one of the great bands of all time.
I think that's interesting when there's it's kind of a common thing with musicians once in a while where they tend to have that certain personality type that's kind of like not cold, but it's just like they're like a tough nut to crack. But it's like a certain creative type that isn't like outgoing and bubbly creative. It's I
mean, first of all, you probably wouldn't pick up an instrument or a paintbrush if you were conversational. You know what I mean? Like if that was your main push in life to be conversational, you would not need an instrument to express yourself.
Yeah.
So I tend to give people a break. I mean, there are some people that are just surly, but other people I'm like, well, this is just not what they do,
Yeah. They're just not talkers.
Why would they be?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why would they be? If you could talk, you probably wouldn't want. When you have those guys going, oh, I did it to attract girls. So if you could attract girls, you wouldn't go, why the fuck would I play any of these instruments? Why would I, do any of this shit? All right, it's the Bennington show on a Tuesday. Very quiet here in the city. I'm sure it is in your town as well because a lot of people tack on extra days to enjoy. Somebody wrote to me today, please have Vito do the best of, at least he listens to the show. I don't know whether that was a Chris thing, but what was your best ofs yesterday, Chris?
Vito actually put together the best ofs yesterday.
Well, that's what I'm asking. What are they?
I believe it was the time I came in late because I was with a young lady in the city. I believe that opened the show. And then
Vito, what do you got?
Yeah, we did. Chris came in all day like fucked up because he slept in, and you started reading his texts on air, and it was when he was bragging to the girl about how he was friends with Patrice.
All lies.
Then we did the day after Creeps with Kids when Bobby Kelly called in because he threw a fundraiser at you guys the night before.
Took money out of our pockets.
Yeah, still hurting.
And then Joe DeRosa when you had him going that you were a painter for like 20
All right, so yours is just ball busting day. Monday, Labor Day was a ball busting day.
And obviously that's one that Vito would pick because Chris would never pick one where he was late to the show.
People were complaining because they thought it was too much Chris focus. So I think that had a lot to do with Vito has this passive-aggressive thing
must be that.
with Chris Stanley.
Bullshit.
Although I was getting lots of tweets about the Joe DeRosa conversation. I had completely forgot about that. Because people were like tweeting to me about Ron being a painter. I was like, well, oh, that's right. I totally forgot that you had that going for so long.
No reason for it. No reason to do shit. I'll tell you what I did over the weekend. So Tom Rhodes and his lovely wife are in town, right? So Tom always wants to do extra stuff, right? Always. So he's like, can we meet? I got shows to do, and can we meet at... He kept saying Little Italy, but I have this... I'm pissed off at Little Italy right now. So I pick Gemma, that restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
That you turned me on to. And so we're supposed to meet, I don't know what it was, because we both had to do shows that night. So we were meeting very early as the restaurant opened, like 5 or 6 o'clock or something. So I get there, and they're not there. So, I'm just walking around that neighborhood, having a smoke. I walk in and check out the lobby of Gemma, because there's always big celebs hanging out, and it's a very cool vibe anyway. So at about 5:07, I just write, I waited as long as I could. I'm out of here, right? And I'm typing it as I'm going back. Now, the thing is, I tried to think of, from a motivation, why I would do that. I just have no idea why I would just write that to someone. So I text that to them, and I'm walking up and I'm just reading, what we're here, and I'm not answering it, and I'm walking up, and I watch the two of them just explode out of the restaurant, out on the street, like they're looking around, but they had such looks of horror on their face. It was almost like they just gotten terrible news, like there was a death in the family. And even when I saw them, I was like, oh, that fucking landed harder than I wanted it to. And then they're like, oh, you were fucking around. Oh, Jesus Christ, we were freaking out, because I don't know why. They're very social people as it is,
yes.
Right? And I don't know why that, they would take that so big, but then they got even with me. We sat down because, she's, as you know, she's from the Netherlands, right?
Yes.
We had a 3-hour dinner.
Whoa.
3 hours. And I'm not saying, 3 hours, we ate so much. No.
Just hanging.
The cheese plate lasted an hour and a half. You know what I mean? They're all about conversation.
Right.
And, But it was really, really nice.
I've had some 2-hour dinners that I thought, holy shit, I can't believe how long we've been here. 3 is intense.
I could have landed back in Austin. That could have been, that's the exact flight to Austin from here.
So what motivated you then to send that text?
No idea.
Just decided to do it just to...
No idea. I couldn't tell you. It's almost like, you ever hear of somebody who's just like driving along and goes, I'm going to swerve over and hit that person. You know what I mean? Like just...
Right.
It's like the Iceman. If you ever watched the Iceman documentary, he didn't know why he didn't care. I just thought it was funny, I guess. If I'm going to say anything, I thought it was funny. But not real funny, just like, oh, this is funny.
Right. But the audience is you in that moment.
And I didn't even care about it. It's not like, I want to see how this turns out. But when I saw their faces and the way that their faces was horrified, as if they saw a trolley run over my legs. There would have been no different. There would have been no difference in attitude. Paul in Bayside. Paul.
Hey guys, I think we're in a worse world today without Greg Allman. I'm a Italian-Irish kid that grew up on Long Island, and the first time I think I saw the Allman Brothers was 97, and it was on from there. It was just, that was it. And I just dove real deep in with them, and I saw them at the Beacon every year, and I never understood the same thing like you said. What business did they have selling out the Beacon Theater on Broadway for a month straight every year?
Every single year.
And they were just, I loved the interview you did with him. It's funny that you said you got nothing out of him.
Yeah,
Greg is an odd bird, and I was such a fan. And it was just, I was on my way someplace on Saturday for dinner, and my wife said Greg Allman died, and it just hit me hard. And I really think we're in a worse world today without him. I love that man.
Yeah,
for everything he did.
And it's funny because he was, like I say, he wasn't a lovable guy. He wasn't. There's some entertainers that just look for your love and want to, and he was just like, we go out and we do our thing and that's it. And people were crazy about him. All right, thanks for calling. But the weird connection between those Southern kids from Daytona and Jacksonville and Georgia and the city of New York that loves, Lou Reed and the Dolls and stuff like that, you would never think that they would have that. And yet it went on for over 40 years.
Yeah. Now, Greg lived in Daytona, right? That's where he was full-time, or?
No. No, he died in Savannah.
Right.
But they were like born down that way.
Yeah.
And,
because I know they lived there for a while, or he lived there for a while.
When they were kids.
Yeah.
When they were kids. But, even when, like, you read their story and stuff, they were out on the road when they were really young. You know what I mean? Like teenagers. Yeah. Like they were basically men when they were teenagers. And Greg always just looked to Dwayne for everything, right? Dwayne was, the dad after the dad died. It was really, I think Greg had said something before, like he lost his father twice when his brother died. But when you go back and even read, he was like 21 years old when Dwayne died. And he talked, because people brought it up, every single day. Every day. Any interview that you ever... And he died at 69. And I guarantee you the last interview brought up Dwayne. It just never went away. That was a ghost that never went away. But just a fucking great band to see live. I mean, listening to them in any way, even their live stuff, doesn't capture that thing.
Well, it's funny because I never saw him live, but whenever I think of the Allman Brothers, I think of live because I think it was like at the Fillmore East is one of the
best live albums of all time.
And that was like the album I had of theirs that like kind of turned me on to them.
That was you and every other human being. You know what I mean? Like that was the album. By the way, I heard from Kathleen from the Bronx, and she was crushed because she loves the Allman Brothers. So then she had told me she did one of those DNA tests. The way Jen had. Jen is 1/3 of everything. And Kathleen came back 94% Irish.
That's amazing.
On the same level as if she was born and raised in Ireland and never got off the island.
Oh my God. That's so incredible.
Only 1% English. And you could throw a rock from Ireland and fucking hit an English person. And she's only 1% English.
Holy shit. That's insane. That is almost, in a weird way, I think more rare in this country than being what Jen is. Like, it's so rare to be particularly...
I think it's rare in Ireland to be that Irish.
Yeah. It's insane. That is like the most Irish person I've ever heard of.
Yeah, they want to come over and do a speaking tour. She's going to Ireland in 3 or 4 weeks. She's going to do a week in England and a week in Ireland.
Very cool, yeah.
I predict, I'm going to predict 2 fistfights and a 3-day jail stint, and that's it.
Right.
I don't think it'll get higher than 3 days.
A couple of headbutts in there.
Well, she's very smart. She'll, hands and feet. I mean, she will not pick up a weapon. Doesn't need to. Hey, Turtle in Nebraska, what's up?
Maha, buddies.
Maha.
Hey, I saw Greg. I've seen Greg twice. The first time was actually in Statesboro. It was in the early '90s. I was at Georgia Southern University, and they had live music one night, and the cover charge was usually $7 to get in. And this one night it was $25, and there were maybe 8 people in the bar. And the owner walks out and says, "Here he is, Greg Allman." And he walked out and played, and the place filled up in no time.
People were just calling
2 years
people.
ago, I saw him. 2 years ago, I saw him live at a casino, and he took 2 15-minute breaks in a 90-minute set. But he was still great. The voice was just still there. He was amazing.
Thanks, bro. Peace.
Sure.
He used to live down in Sarasota when we were down that way.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid, a comedy club that we were working at, and just was sitting back, just drinking. And to me, it was, a pure rock guy.
Yeah,
there was a whole funny story. I'm not even going to tell it today. Someday I'll tell. I probably have told it on the air before, but not today. Richard, Miami.
Yeah, I was going to let you guys know, if you ever get the chance, go down to the big house in Macon, Georgia, and check out the house they all lived in back in the day, and you can check out the diner and all those famous spots. It's awesome.
Yeah, I doubt that I will, but it's nice to know that they're out there. Well, they were just going to make that Allman Brothers movie last year, and the girl got killed by a train, and they just shut the whole thing down.
Oh, really?
I think it was a fairly small movie that they're making, but I'd always heard that Greg wasn't into it at all anyway. He just wasn't comfortable with that kind of exposure.
I think he cut a new record, too. I think he has a record that is already finished and was supposed to come out sometime this year, and I think it's maybe coming out in the fall or something like that.
Well, we had heard that thing from Johnny last week or 2 weeks ago about he was interested in some memorabilia, went in and took pictures of it.
Yeah.
And that whole looking back thing just kind of, it seemed appropriate that you get to the latter stages of your life and you start to be a little more nostalgic for the early days that maybe that you didn't keep as precious as you should have, the way young people do. There's no reason for them to think that way, but when you get older, you do. By the way, I saw Johnny on Good Day New York cooking cheeseburgers. Had a pretty long segment, too.
Nice!
Yeah. And I'm like, why hasn't this guy got his own cooking show?
I would definitely watch a cooking show with Hard Rock Johnny. Sure.
I think the nation would. And at one point, I don't know whether he was putting some kind of cheese on it. He said, boom.
Did he?
Yeah, he goes, and then boom. And I'm like, I wonder if he's doing that on purpose, like he's looking for a catchphrase. But it was very funny because Johnny was wearing this chef's coat and all. Uh-huh. I've never seen him wear the chef's coat anywhere. But it was like, it was a good segment. Oh, this is the weird thing. So the dude that's with him on Good Day, I think it's Good Day New York or whatever, this guy starts to chomp into this giant burger, right? Mm-hmm. And kept going. And I mean, he was woofing it instead of being his fucking mouth was just so filled up. And then they go to commercial and they come back and there's no Johnny and they're at the couch. The guy still has the fucking cheeseburger going. And he's taking these major bites. I mean, you got to unhinge your jaw to eat this fucking burger as it is. So then I said to Johnny, I'm like, that fucking dude was really into the burger. He goes, that was a pre-cooked burger from like a couple hours earlier. I don't know whether I gave anything away I wasn't supposed to. But that guy was eating. And then I always thought, okay, you're on TV. You got to stay small. And then you probably think to yourself, well, I'm doing this for my job. You know what I mean? Like, he probably never gets to eat any real food.
He was starving, clearly.
Everyone in TV is always starving.
I love that Johnny's BAM is boom.
Yeah, boom. And then boom, you got it.
Boom goes the dynamite.
It was a hell of a little segment. I mean, I don't like all those different things on my... I guess the Hard Rock is doing a different burger a day. I just like
a themed burger.
I like a cheeseburger. You don't have to put on a lot of shit for me, but
I bet you like an avocado burger.
We can eat it, but it doesn't make the burger better for me. I like burger cheese. Now, first of all, I don't want it if it doesn't have cheese on it. But then if you start to throw a lot of shit on it, I'm like, now it's something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's no longer a cheeseburger.
No cheese on a burger is just so weird. I remember one time I was watching what is that, like 18 kids and counting, the Duggar family?
Yeah, the Duggars.
And they had stopped because they just have a giant bus that they have to move their family around. They were like on
Duggar bus.
a little road trip, and they stopped and pulled over, and he pulled out this little grill, and he was just making like plain cheeseburgers for everyone. And I was like, I couldn't live like this family. And for some reason, that was the reason, not the fact that there was like 20 some people in their family.
Yeah, and they'll just get a piece of cloth and make one of the kids' dresses out of it so it looks like she's in the 1800s.
And it's just like the idea of a hamburger sandwich, gross to me. Plain hamburger, I don't get it.
In a little bit, we'll get into. I'll just check with her before we get into your dish bit. Is Ben Stiller on there?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't want to steal it from you. All right, here's something for the dish, and I immediately sent this picture out to friends of mine. Bruce Springsteen, New Jersey's own Bruce Springsteen, who has sold out Giant Stadium more than the Giants, walking around Wildwood wearing a Philadelphia Eagles cap. And I sent that. Doesn't matter who, Earl, you name it. Anyone I know that is a Giants fan. They got a picture of that.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
Force-fed that picture.
That's a lot of crossover fans. Is Bruce Springsteen Giants fan? That Venn diagram is a good 90%.
It's almost the same as Kathleen from the Bronx's Irish DNA. It's that strong. Yes, every season ticket holder also goes to every Springsteen show.
And maybe it was with Johnny, but I remember in the past, this was not all that long ago, you arguing that his allegiance was to Philly over New York.
I will say this, and I believe I'm correct, that Bruce Springsteen broke in Philly first.
Right.
Before. And, I mean, where he grew up, it's just as close to Philly as it is to New York. Yeah. I'm not saying it's closer. But I believe it to be just as close.
You could easily choose.
In drive time. Well, yeah. And, Ed Shockey, and I think it was Ed Shockey, the Philadelphia DJ, used to actually let Bruce crash on his couch and then come in and do the show the next day. So, I mean, I would say that he's a Philly act.
Yeah.
No. When he got big, he immediately went to that New York market where it was, Now, he has New York in his songs more. I don't know if he's ever put Philly in the songs. But Atlantic City is more the Philadelphia market than it is the New York market. He wrote an entire album called Atlantic City. Jersey has them first. There's no doubt about it. For once in their life, Jersey has their own.
But was it anger and disbelief by most of these New York fans?
Literally, people said, "Where's the picture then?" Because I wouldn't send the picture first. I would just make the statement. Well, it looks like this is one New York and the Giants have lost, and they were going, "I don't believe you," and then I would quickly paste send. Kind of an asshole weekend for me, more than anything else.
You're trying to get at everybody.
All right, Jose says this. Chris and that fake laugh as the great Ron Bennington is telling a story is infuriating. I noticed some laughter where there didn't even need to be laughter today.
It's not fake laughter.
But I was talking about Greg Allman dying.
Oh.
You laughed at that?
Don't remember. I mean, it might have just came out.
He's a nervous laugher. That's how he deals with grief.
You are a nervous laugher.
Yeah, that happens. Definitely.
Like, I definitely have told you a story. See, you're already laughing because you're afraid of what I'm going to say. I've definitely told a story that involves something horrible happening to someone, sexual assault, rape. These are things that, and I know he doesn't find these things funny, but he does laugh. Usually everyone turns and looks at Chris.
Yeah, it
is. Why did you just laugh?
He doesn't know how to be. That's okay. Hey, Barry, what's up?
Ronnie, how you doing? Yeah,
Good.
when you were talking about Ed Shockey, wasn't he part of that when Bruce played at the Main Point? That was like his big breakthrough. They did that. I remember it was like a live concert that they aired, I believe.
Yeah, and that's why the Fever is known so much in Philly, and it's not known around the country because that song was on there. And then he turned around and gave it to Southside Johnny. But
he was a nobody back then.
Yeah, and also, of course, the big Widener college gig was right. before he, exploded. But New York, they got. Well, New York's got the ways and means. What am I going to tell you? When they want something, they want it.
Yeah, they do pretty good for themselves. They have a lot of influence.
Look, Fleet Week was this weekend, right? And I fucking standing out in front of the stand in between shows. Beautiful nights. We even put a little table out there and forgot, we're drinking cappuccinos and just living like fucking Europeans. But these drunk sailor kids would come down the street, and it might as well have been 1941. They look there's that fake laugh. They look exactly the same, and they're staggering drunk, and it looks like, sailors fighting in the dance hall.
Yeah, I always get that in New York during Fleet Week, because if you can be at a certain angle where you're looking at the city behind them, and you're like, when is this? They've kept up with that costume. They're like, we're not changing this uniform.
I don't know whether you've ever been close to it either. It's not a breathable costume either.
It's very stiff.
Yeah, it's not a costume. It's a uniform. You got me saying costume. Costume is if you dress up like a vampire. That's a uniform.
But to be fair, I also call outfits costumes all the time.
That isn't fair. You're not being fair then. You're saying to be even more unfair.
But I will walk in and say, like, how is this costume for today? Is this good costume?
You say that to people?
Yes. Like, what costume are you wearing tomorrow? It's just clothing.
You're making mistakes with that. Say costume at Halloween and no other time. Matt, Jersey.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
I'm just surprised nobody mentioned already. Springsteen won an Oscar for a song called Philadelphia.
Well, first of all, these two will never correct me. Second of all, the fact that song's about... Excuse me, Chris?
I'm afraid to correct you.
Okay. But not interrupt. I'm kidding. That song's about AIDS, though. You know what I mean? Like, I can't sit around. It's not a fist-pumping song.
And Ron, that's why I didn't correct you. Okay.
I just wish there was a 10th Avenue. You know what I mean? Like a 10th Avenue freeze-out that you could be like, yeah, this is our song. But no angel came to meet me. Yeah. And when he says my clothes don't fit anymore, it's just fucking heartbreaking.
It's too sad.
Way too sad.
You don't want that association with Philly.
Andrew in Chicago.
Hey, Bennington.
Hey.
Was wondering about before 4th of July if we could raise some money and get Chris some swim lessons. I think it's a shame that he doesn't know how to swim.
First of all, I don't want him to get swim lessons because there's always a better opportunity that he'll drown.
I can float. I figured that out.
Yes. And if you move your arms and legs when you're floating, you're swimming.
That's swimming, Chris.
This isn't. Seriously.
I'll still take some cash if you want to raise it, though.
Believe me, nobody expected you to.
The cash isn't for you. It's for the swim lessons.
Lessons.
You can't take the GoFundMe and stick it into your fucking pocket.
No one thought you were going to be able to swim underwater. I mean, it's not something we thought was possible.
I learned to swim underwater before I learned how to swim.
Me too. And I still kind of prefer that as swimming.
That's funny to even say, but
like I just prefer when
you're in a pool, you don't exactly sit around and swim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless it's an Olympic-sized pool, and you are in the Olympics. Jen, did you say you don't swim?
I don't know how. No.
You're an island girl.
I know. My parents never taught me how to swim.
Let's stop blaming them. You're an adult now.
It's okay to blame them, Jen.
It's only an island.
First of all, your parents didn't teach you how to drink milkshakes, and you were able to figure that out. I always laugh when adults go, well, my parents never. You're an adult now.
Because I feel kind of weird, like, taking lessons now.
Do it with Chris.
Why? Why would that be weird?
I feel like it's just like instructors would just like laugh at me, like ask me.
Yes, that's what instructors do.
They call the job.
Yeah,
it's a roast.
They call people stupid. They have a job to teach people to swim, and then they act like it's lame. They're glad people can't swim.
All questions are stupid. Always remember that.
Well, a lot of people, if they have a stroke or something, they have to relearn how to swim. So they're working with adults that just, as you say, their parents didn't somehow become responsible. You didn't have swimming pools in your neighborhood?
No swimming pools in my neighborhood.
So she's never owned a bikini. Never in her life.
I mean, I've owned a bikini, but more like just relaxing around
So
the
you
pool.
still go to the beach, but you just like won't get in the water.
All right, see, this is
so
what
you
I-
have a swim costume.
I
Is
stay
what
on-
you're saying.
Here's what I don't understand about people who go to pools and they don't swim. That would be like me lying around a giant pit. I'm like, don't anybody push me in here. You know what I mean? Like, this is dangerous for people who don't swim, and yet they're like, well, I'll go out on a float. I'm like, you're really daring. That's like me being on a fucking trapeze.
When I was a kid, for some reason, I had made it up. You know when you just like, you try to figure out the world without asking a question? You're like, I figured this thing out. I had decided that older women couldn't swim because both of my grandmothers would only like wade and not get their hair wet. I'm like, something must happen at a certain age.
That's called perms.
Yes, that's what I realized later. Is just like that older women prefer not
But
to get
my
their
mom
hair.
would always swim and never get her hair wet.
Yes,
she
she
could
would-
keep her body out of the water while swimming and not go underwater.
Yes, and then I always think of her half of her top half on the raft with her little dog on the raft, and she would just be kicking in the water.
No,
Perfectly dry hair.
The other thing too is like you can't understand why your mom doesn't want to splash in the pool. Like they're always like no splashing. You're like, we're in a fucking pool. The whole point of being here is to splash. Having a profession, like they say, swimming is one of those things that you can't read a book and then you're able to swim. You know what I mean? Like a lot of things you could read a book, you get the instructions you want, but you really need somebody with you.
And so much of that is like sensation based. It's like it's based on also your body type. So the way you
Right.
swim.
Some people float differently than other people. Some people, like Chris, found out that he was very buoyant. He was a buoyant young man. I don't know if Jen's going to be that way.
No, I don't think I am.
Maybe
I've tried
that
it.
She said it. Jen, come on over and let's dish.
Okay.
But that is always better when a girl will say the obvious to another girl. Leave the guys out of it. Vito, from what I'm understanding, no more love letters to Chris during the best stuffs.
Aw.
People were acting like we took off a month because we had Memorial Day off too. Like people was like, "Oh, good, you're back." They're writing, like, "What the fuck's that about?"
A lot of people did this.
Every human being.
In fact,
in
most
this
people
country.
took off more.
Yeah, you have to work in a 7-Eleven that you had to work yesterday.
Put on your headphones, Jen's got the news. Let's fish to the gossip they're saying on the radio.
All right, let's dish.
Okay, so Ben Stiller, as we talked about before, he has split from his wife, Christine Taylor.
Never saw that coming. They were one of those couples
Yeah.
that just seemed so great together.
They were together for 17 years. They have 2 kids together. And they were both, I guess they met on the movie Zoolander together.
I think actually the first time they met was what was the I think that was like their first project together. But they met on that it's like Robot. It was like kind of like a oh my god, this is gonna drive me nuts. It was like something Robot.
A Ben Stiller robot movie?
I think he like wrote and directed it, and I think Jack Black was in it, and it was kind of like a cult thing that never took off.
I've never even heard of this before.
Somebody's gotta look it up.
Was she like a love interest in it?
I
Or
don't.
was she...
I can't remember exactly, but I thought that's where they met, and it was like I think Jack Black was in it. Anyway,
Well, I guess they finally took that. You know, they maybe met there, they saw each other, and then Zoolander is where they
Right.
they started talking.
Gail's correction went nowhere since she had no facts at all. And then was trying to pull this out of us. Maybe somebody will know.
saw
it.
this.
I have to.
What?
It's Heat Vision and Jack.
Yeah, Heat Vision and Jack. Do you remember that?
I think I only saw that on YouTube. I think that was the early days of YouTube, which would have been after Zoolander.
I thought it was something that was like a pilot that didn't take off, and then people started sharing it.
I thought, I don't know why, but I thought that was a Conan O'Brien project.
Really?
Anyway, we're not dishing now. We're off in this other thing. This should be Jen's time.
No, thank you, Gail. But yeah, no, I guess it says that they met on Zoolander together,
Right?
So I think I don't know. I think it's kind of sad.
It's
I think it's way sad. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to get in other people's business, but they always seemed very happy to me.
But,
So
like-
who do you think cheated? I'm going to shock everybody. I think it was Marsha Brady. I think Marsha.
Really?
Yeah. I think she cheated with somebody.
I think it was
Jack Black, probably.
I feel like it was Ben.
Yeah, no. If I think anything, I think she got overwined. I mean, I don't think, even with all his success, I don't think Ben has a lot of good days.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
You think he's like just a difficult?
I think any fucking tapioca pudding he has a complaint about. I'm gonna go that far. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what it is, it's not up to his specifications.
She's like, enough already.
And she just figured she needs to live a couple years. That's all.
I hope this wasn't over Zoolander too. That's all.
It should be.
Couldn't have helped.
I know. I didn't make it too far. I got into the giant house, and I'm like, I'm tapping.
But yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. Because
you think they'll get back together?
I'm hoping. I mean,
People
two
don't
kids,
get back
like,
together.
2 kids.
Let's
so
see.
messy.
Your parents had 2 kids. Did they get back together? And when
That's very true.
When we met, you were like, I'm hoping to get my parents back together. I'm like, what? You and your twin sister?
Trying to parent trap this shit.
Oh, yeah. When were you guys together with her sister? I saw it on the Instagram.
Yeah. That was like a couple
When we had
last week.
Yeah.
Or
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
After Dimitri.
Yeah.
Oh, we're playing Dimitri on Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
2
Chris's favorite mess he said that we've ever done.
Yes.
You said it was riveting.
You're a big fan.
Dimitri Martin on Mass, 2 p.m. this Friday.
Thank you, Chris.
It was Friday. Coming up next, we've got an unmasked.
Let me puke out some helps for you.
So this next story, I mean, it's Scott Disick. I've been following him this entire weekend. Like I
think
thought
that you're sexually attracted to him.
he's becoming a little hotter to me. He is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But like at first I saw him with Bella and I was like, okay, he has a new girlfriend now. He went to Cane's and I guess like that's where Courtney and her boyfriend are right now.
Oh,
so then like Can.
It took you a second.
Yeah, I thought it was a jewelry store. So there can, and she's been like tweeting out thong pics.
Yeah, I feel like she's trying to make him jealous a little bit.
It's working.
But he's definitely firing back even harder. Like he had Bella one night, and then the next day he had like his old girlfriend, the Ella Ross chick.
Yeah.
And then he was what's her name? Lionel Richie's daughter.
Nicole Richie.
Not
Sophia.
Nicole. Sophia. Sophia Richie.
I
He was
never
like
heard
touching
of
her
Sophia
butt.
yet. I know Nicole.
She's
What's
one of like the new it girls. She's the
so
youngest.
she's a younger.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
dated Bieber.
She dated Bieber. Yeah.
Oh, let me see her.
Oh, I kind of remember this
she's
chick.
fucking gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
she's
super pretty.
Yeah, she's very
But
pretty.
really young for him. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, if you're dating somebody who dates Bieber, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
I mean,
should
I know
not
he's
be-
not a kid starting, but boy, this girl's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, she's super
She's really, really beautiful. But yeah, he doesn't seem like he should be in the same dating pool.
Bieber was rumored to be dating, to be having sex with Kourtney Kardashian for like a hot minute.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe that's why he's doing it.
Yeah,
Because they use people to hurt each other. And that's smart. That I like.
And
They like really are a bit incestuous with that. Like, hasn't there been other like? Isn't like the weird Black China like connection?
Yeah, but here's the deal: the Hollywood 1%ers. I mean, it's a small group of people, and you don't want to date outside your class system. You know what I mean? You want to date in your celebrity class.
You want to
can't
stay
be
at
like,
the top.
oh yeah, oh did you hear he's dating the checkout girl at Winn Dixie? You know what I mean? Like that. She might be fucking hot as shit, but that doesn't help.
So, sorry, baby, this isn't in brand.
But he's also kind of taking another one of Bieber's ex-girls, Chantel Jeffries. He was seen with her
Let me
too.
see her.
She's really she kind of has a similar look to Sophia.
And you like him, all right?
Yeah, I think
But
he's cute.
do you know that he asked all these girls to pee on him? That's his
Oh,
thing.
no.
He goes pee on.
Just a little pee.
Yeah, mainly on his feet though. He goes, just come in and pee on my feet. That's all I really want. I guess he masturbates by it's happening. Again, breaking another big story.
I prefer the Richie girl to
Oh,
this
the
girl.
Richie girl is unbelievably
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
I like Chantel. She's my favorite.
No, seriously, I wouldn't even. If I was getting the Richie girl cocktail and Chantel Monet, I'd go like this: "Get the fuck out of my way! Get the fuck out of my way!" That Richie girl wants us.
Wait, they're
Is that
together?
both of them?
So they were friends, and like one night he's like groping Chantel, the other night he's groping.
Where's a groping picture?
Like he's like touching Chantel's butt, like she's laying down by the pool, and he's just like, it's just creepy. He's kind of creeping on them.
Where'd you get this dish? Were you there?
I've been stalking it all weekend.
Yeah.
He's had a very eventful Memorial Day weekend.
Good for him. Good for him. Now, Vito, do you keep up with the dish news, or this is all new to you?
I randomly will pick like one person to follow. So like I've been following Scott Disick on this adventure.
I don't know. I thought you were following Bryce Harper in his fist fight.
No, I mean I followed the Bryce Harper thing was great. Like that helmet throw was one of the most pathetic things I've seen in baseball.
Dude, he was running and trying to throw a helmet, something he never throws.
He's one of the best arms in baseball, and that thing went the opposite direction.
Well, maybe he was just trying to throw it out of the way.
I don't know. I think he was trying to hit somebody.
Now, I'm going to ask you girls this. So Bryce Harper, he hit a couple home runs off this fight. What pitcher was it again? San Francisco Giant.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, hits two of them in the same game. So 2 years later, they're facing. So this pitcher hits Bryce Harper in the thigh. And then on purpose, he throws a fucking 98-mile-an-hour fastball, hits him in the thigh. Harper loses his shit, runs at him, takes a fucking punch or two. I mean, here's one thing I'm going to tell you before you go running at a pitcher. Pitchers are the meanest fucking people on the planet. They're just mean. And people are like, Bryce Harper, calm down. The guy wanted to hit you with a fastball. Take it. You're not being in the... So, yeah, in old school baseball, you're not even supposed to rub your leg if somebody hits you with a pitch. You're supposed to act like it didn't hurt. You know what I mean? So you're supposed to just act like I'm ignoring this and I'm going to first. I had it coming. For all the fucking rules that they're changing about every sport, making it safer, no one wants to stop people from getting thrown out in baseball.
It's weird, and like it gets real close sometimes. Like the hits that they'll take, it'll like be the high back or like the high arm where it's close to the face.
But he's saying it's getting close. He means they only think it's bad if it hits you in the head.
Right.
Now, I remember I got hit by a 15-year-old when I was 14 in an all-star game, and I fucking taken a shower, and I saw the laces on my thigh from the fucking baseball. That's how hard this kid was throwing it. And we weren't in the majors. I can't imagine being in the major leagues and getting hit and knowing that person sat out to hit me and not feel like I'm going to hurt that fucker.
I can't believe it. That doesn't happen more often, that people would like charge the pitcher for that. That's insane.
Bryce will probably get a suspension for retaliating, right?
But Bryce has gotten into some shit before. Like you saw when he got into the Papelbon, like choked him out in the dugout.
Yes, that has nothing to do with this.
But yeah, no, he'll be.
You can't be acting like, well, he's had trouble in the past, so I hit him with a fastball. You just can't. That's a fucking weapon.
Yeah,
it's a weapon.
And also, you said like sometimes they do this, and it's like not even related to you. Yeah. Like sometimes they're mad.
Most of the time, yes, that's when it's considered okay. Like people are saying you can't get mad at somebody for hitting a home run and then hit them with the thing, but you can. Like if a guy on your team gets hit, you're supposed to come up and throw at the first batter, the other team.
Oh, God.
I mean, this goes back Civil War. Like fucking Grant in the backyard was fucking throwing at people. So, but they couldn't throw as hard as they can today. Yeah, it's much more fucking dangerous today.
But they won't change it because you see like how much coverage that one thing got. Like I saw more clips of that this weekend.
Okay, then shoot him in the toe because I bet that goes fucking viral.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that it's like they're holding on to stuff like that.
Let's check out baseball.
I don't think that's the reason. I think it's because they hate to change. The game got ruined by the American League when they did the DH.
Right.
That's when it stopped being baseball. I think it was more detrimental to baseball than steroid use. The American League, I would love to get rid of it because it's not even baseball. They should just call it what it is, fucking bocce. Let's dish.
All right, so the next story is about Fergie. She left the Black Eyed Peas, and now all the Black Eyed Peas members are like on Twitter upset with her. One of them, Taboo.
I thought she left years ago.
No, she just announced officially May 29th that she left the
so
Black
what
Eyed
Taboo
Peas.
have to say?
He went on
Taboo had to say, "This is my sister."
That's me. I'm Taboo.
He put up a picture of the rest of the group and said Black Eyed Peas. This is the the new band.
Yeah. That's what we all wanted. That band without Fergie.
I think Fergie made the band. I don't think that they'll make hits like they did with Fergie. Fergie was Black Eyed Peas.
We had an awful Fergie thing when we first moved over here from 57th Street. So over at Shade, Black Eyed Peas were coming in, right? And we were sitting here like this. We're like, I just want to see fucking Fergie. I don't care. And then she walks up and she's standing right there. And we're like, damn, Fergie's fuckable. She really is. I would put my penis in Fergie. And we didn't know that we had a stupid fucking intern who left the radio on in the thing.
Ooh.
So the Black Eyed Peas complained the highest that you could go with their record company. Complained to the highest here. And who was our big boss then?
Steve Blatter.
To his credit, he goes like this, guys, keep that radio off. Because we thought they were going to rain shit on us. He goes, guys, you got to keep that radio off in the hall. You don't want anybody hearing your show.
Oh, no.
Let's go in another place.
Oh, my God, but that's so...
And we go like this. Thanks, helpful tip.
That's lucky. It's lucky that it didn't get worse.
Because we're like, look at her ass. I bet her asshole is nice. I forget who was in here with us. But we didn't know. But the Black Eyed Peas were listening to all that.
Oh, gosh, that's so cringy.
And that's when there was a very short time when the Black Eyed Peas were the biggest band in the whole world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people forget that now. But what was their fucking party song that
When I say Mazel Tov?
Yeah, but that isn't.
Let's Get It Started?
Yeah, Let's Get It Started was the fucking giant hit of the year.
Yeah.
And they were big, not here, just here, not in Europe. I mean, those fucking guys could go to South America, Africa, fucking Sri Lanka. It didn't give a shit where they went. They were gigantic.
Not only is it easy to forget that they were the biggest band, it's easy to forget when that first hit came out. They seem pretty legit. You're like, we only got one world, one world.
Oh yeah, that fucking song was great.
It's good.
I
Sounds
love
pretty
them.
good.
What was that? Where's the Love?
Yeah. And they had all of the musicians in the video.
Justin Timberlake's back up on that.
Yeah, he is. I'm loving it.
It's good too. It's really solid. We'll never make that without Fergie.
I don't think they need her. That was a giant fuck you to Fergie. She's never going to be that good again.
I have something to propose. Jen, you are kind of an ambiguous race. Could you be the new Fergie?
Holy shit. Do it. Yeah, we never knew where Fergie was coming from either. She was probably part of that triad that Jen is. A third of everything.
Now, what would be more embarrassing to you? That Fergie heard you talking about how fuckable she is, or if the radio had been on and we were all singing that song so loud in here?
I have no problem. They're just standing out there.
We only got one world.
Remember Robbie Robinson was like, oh, you sing along with the songs, huh?
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I do.
I enjoy music. I do.
Was I supposed to sit quietly and let your fucking band play?
Whenever I see somebody quietly listening to music, I'm like, oh, you don't enjoy music.
No, you don't like it at all.
Yes, I am enjoying it.
Vito was loving that. We came closer to your taste bracket.
Yeah, I love that song. When I was a kid, and that lyric when he says the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK, I thought that was a curse, and I thought it was a bad word.
KKK?
What part,
I was like, I can't believe they just fucking said KKK in that song.
What did you think it stood for?
I knew it was the Ku Klux Klan, but I was like, what's going on? How could you say that word?
That's adorable.
It is adorable.
It's a better.
Word. I mean, it makes more sense that you don't say words like that than you don't say balls.
No, what I like about that song is that there's kind of gang vocals at the end of every line, which is kind of just how white people sing along to rap anyway.
Yeah.
They're I always just know the last word.
Yeah.
You hear people on the train, a white guy on the train listen to Biggie and he's only saying the last word.
But you know what? I find that song kind of heartbreaking when they get to something's wrong with it. You know what I mean? When you're talking about the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Because that was like a post 9/11 song.
Yeah.
That came just after 9/11, and I remember, like me and a couple of students, we like came together and we were making a documentary about youth activism when I was in high school. And I remember we used that song, and I remember just thinking, well, this is definitely going to hold up. Like within 2 months, it was like the biggest song. We're like, this might be corny. We used this song in the documentary. It might be really heavy-handed.
And Gail doesn't want to bring this up, but her documentary played at the Lincoln Center. I just suddenly acted like a dad for the first time since people ever saw us together.
And it was a wonderful film.
It was a wonderful film. All these kids are so talented. Look, I got this, and her name's in it. That's my daughter's name right there. It says Lincoln Center at the top. It was a proud moment for me. More dish? Or at least a saucer? You got something?
We have Ryan Seacrest again. A little drama with him. He's upset about Katy Perry making $25 million for doing American Idol.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like been bragging on it in interviews, like, you know, it's so great that they're making me like I'm like the first woman, you know, making the most out of every man that's been on American Idol. Basically, kind of digging at him a little bit because he's the only man that.
But here's the thing. I mean, I don't care what anybody gets paid, but you're really being overpaid when you're the judge. 1/3 of the judges. And you've never done it before, and you're getting $25 million.
Yeah, that is pretty
like
steep.
Ryan should be like, dude, seriously.
Yeah,
I'm busting my ass. I'm the one that has to do cues. You know what Ryan's getting? $600 a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's not an episode per week. No matter how many episodes they do.
So I guess now they're trying to renegotiate his contract because they only offered him $10 million.
Yeah, well, he still should be happy. That's still pretty good.
That's nice.
Who else is going to be on besides Katy Perry?
They've only
They should
Katy
just
Perry
have one
and-
judge.
That's all they
Katy
can
Perry
afford.
show, yeah.
Three, yeah.
It's her and two people that she went to high school with.
They just have her in a throne like the queen. This doesn't amuse me.
This song goes straight to the top of the charts.
But I think if I was making $25 million, there's no way I'd be bragging because I know I'd be getting away with murder. Like, don't worry about what I'm making. It's a good chunk of change. It's fine.
Like, it's really hard for any other judge to come in and like be like, "Oh, you're only going to offer me $10 million," when I know Katy Perry is making $25 million.
But you're not going to make $10 million anywhere else. Like, go and do something. I don't care what it is. Make a fucking movie, and you're not going to make $25 million.
Like that kind of money is so much to me that you might as well say $1 billion. It's just like I would be like 10 million and 25 million. Be like, I don't know. It's just so much money.
But here's also the thing. It is a job that all of us could do. If you watch the show, you could do the judging. You
Yeah.
could say, I like that song or I don't like that song.
Yeah, you know, it's like not even like being a vocal coach. You're just
Right.
like, that sounds like shit. Get off.
Right. Just I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I just don't. That's an acceptable answer. And just as acceptable as I think you're cute as a button. And I think that button is going to go on the shirt of a hit song. So button up, world. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Producers later like, great stuff. That's heavy on the button thing.
Right.
We didn't really get the theme.
More buttons? I'll button this up.
We love that you want a catchphrase, but just the word button isn't a catchphrase.
Button. I got a problem. Looks like this button was undone. And I expected more out of you. I always like it when the judge looks like they're so let down. And they go like this. I don't know who talked you into putting on a cowboy hat, singing and dancing that way, but I think you hurt your chances. And I believed in you.
I love when the audience disagrees.
Oh, you bastard.
How could you do it? He's just 15 years old.
Your song sounds like someone's getting raped. And I mean a minor being raped by a full-grown man and his dog.
You know, after the rape comment, bring back the button. You know what I mean? The button's your thing.
I thought rape would be big for us. I don't know whether you're gargling semen, but it sure sounds like it.
Oh my God.
First of all, next time before you sing, blow your nose because it's snotty.
Oh my God.
That's what was the show when it was like the red carpet show where they would talk to designers and
Project Runway?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I call Runway red carpet, but I do. But Mark from that show, middle-aged Mark, I'll just call him. He said that the girl's dress looked poopy. He says it's all poopy in the back. And he was acting like there was shit falling out of her ass.
Yeah, because I remember
No, and he also said farty.
Yeah.
It's like she was farting.
And Klum is like, you're right, it's like she is pooping fabric. It is, she's pooping fabric. In the fashion industry, 1 minute you're in, the next you're out.
That's so funny.
Klim actually said like this. You seem like a dirty Jew girl.
In the fashion industry, 1 minute you're in, the next you're sent to Auschwitz.
Which you deserve and vast for. Any more? That's it.
I had a Jaden Smith story. I did have one, yes.
You love Jaden Smith.
I do. I really love him. I'm rooting for him. He's filming a movie called Life in a Year in Toronto. And he basically went on a Twitter rant about the Four Seasons Hotel in Toronto, kicking him out of the hotel and saying that they spiked his pancakes with cheese. And he's surprised that he's alive.
I don't know if that's how one spikes something.
Lactose intolerant?
He's like, basically, yeah, he could have died. So I guess he is lactose intolerant.
No one ever dies from that, though. It's not like a peanut allergy.
Yeah, but also, you just can't poop, I think.
I'd be long dead if that was true.
You're lactose intolerant?
I have to be, yeah. I have to be.
What do you mean you have to be?
I figured it out this week. I drank a milkshake and I was just shitting my brains out all weekend long.
I thought it's the opposite. I thought you can't poop if you're Maybe I don't understand it.
No, I think it's also the other way around. The diarrhea, as they say.
Yes, I understand.
We know what that is, but Vito was making a look like Chris wasn't talking about it. Chris was doing it.
Well, after what he told us on Friday, that he is so aware of his coworker's scent that that haunted me all weekend.
I've told Chris I thought he was lactose intolerant because anytime he eats cheese, that's when he's at his fartiest.
Oh God!
You should know
He
these things
eats
about me.
cheese every fucking meal.
Yeah, but when he gets something high in dairy, if we get an ice cream or something, it's fucking over for the next 3 days.
Friday was his mercury fucking poisoning day. Today now is his milk poisoning day. Now, could you go to the doctor and be tested for it?
Yeah, I can. I will go to the doctor. And also, I haven't had any tuna fish in the last 3 days. Feel kind of weird about it. Feel like I need to
Really?
eat
You're
some tuna
trying
fish today. Yeah.
Did you do it purposefully?
I did on purpose because listing all the symptoms, I think I might have it. So I'm going to, but I'm gonna have some tuna today just to get it back in my system. I can't go. I gotta wean myself off of it. I can't just go no mercury all.
He said mercury again. Oh my God! He said it again.
I have the mercury poisoning. The mercury.
You're like an evil professor. Mercury.
Mercury.
I've never heard someone pronounce it that way. I thought the first time was an accident. You have a problem with that word, dude.
My favorite planet, Mercury. My favorite disease, mercury poisoning. I mean, you're way too young for us to hear about your physical ailments every
So
day.
much.
You're way too young.
I feel like they're not too debilitating. They're just minor annoyances at this point.
Yes,
the
but it
mercury
shouldn't
poisoning.
happen as a young person.
Lactose intolerance.
You're like if we had a grandma. We're like, I hope she doesn't eat any of that cheese. She sneaks it.
You have elder bod.
I think I'll turn around 2017.
We're halfway halfway through the year, dude.
Whatever.
It's not happening.
So people are agreeing with Chris that if you are lactose intolerant, I'm hearing from quite a few Jews.
Okay.
That you got the shit.
Okay. So maybe you do have it.
So I have to cut down on the dairy then.
Where'd you have the milkshake? No, you don't cut down. You cut it out.
I can't cut it out completely.
Come on, man. People live like this. This is a thing that people do.
You understand that it's intolerance? It's not. It's not. I have dairy annoyance. But you should be doing it just to spare your ass all that farting.
Yeah, the ass.
Because you're going to end up losing your rectum.
Oh, what?
You can overfart.
You can fart it
You're
out.
giving up a lifetime's of fart already in your early 30s.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
You see Cuban is lactose intolerant. He always turns down the ice cream and dairy products on Shark Tank. Every single time.
You're right, 100% of the time.
He always says, I can't do it because I'm lactose intolerant, so for that reason, I'm out.
So Chris would say like this, after I am lactose intolerant, so I will eat it. Oh, that hurt.
Keep it coming.
Oh, God. It's like there's a volcano down there.
Oh. It's very hot.
Chris, I'm so concerned.
Don't be. It's fine. I drank a milkshake and finally opened my eyes to the intolerance.
Where did you get the milkshake?
The Bel Air Diner.
Now, you just went in and ordered a milkshake, or would you have it with?
Cheeseburger.
Yeah. I just like the idea of, I'll just have a shake. Like he's like some 50s girl.
You just sit at the bar?
Yeah.
And he asked for 2 straws, but he's using them both.
Up his nostrils.
Gotta get that lactose.
Best way is, most of the intolerance is in my throat. Anytime I see military planes taking off, I'm like, is this it? World War III, is it done? So I forget even what the story is because shitty fucking thing.
You took it over.
Everything, you take it over with your weirdness.
Jaden Smith got kicked out of a hotel.
Basically, yeah. The Four Seasons in Toronto kicked him out.
Now, what did he do? Did they say what it was that made them
He didn't say what it was that made them kick him out. He just said that they were like, yeah, you got to leave. Like, which is so
that
weird.
boy's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why he's got to leave. He's crazy.
He's
crazy and confident.
Is he still doing? Wait, now I'm forgetting. Is he like gender fluid, or he just likes to wear dresses?
He likes
dresses. Okay, cool.
He never says that he dates boys or anything. He's just like, look at me, I'm in a dress. After I destroyed my father's movie career, I started wearing dresses. His father could not make a mistake until that kid came along.
After Earth.
Huh?
That movie After Earth. Like, he was on a good roll. He was getting nominated for Oscars.
Let me tell you something. And his daughter whipped my hair back and forth. Yeah. I haven't even seen her in years.
She's great. She had that hit, and then she cut all her hair off.
Yeah, furious.
Like, literally.
Everybody keeps wanting me to whip it.
She's like, fuck this hair.
Jaden shaved his head recently, and then he started carrying it around with him wherever he went.
He went to the, I think the Met Gala with like a piece of his, wearing his dreadlocks in his hand. I guess like as outfit. It looked like branches, and I was like, wait, that's his dread.
He was just holding it.
He was just holding it, yeah. It was super weird.
He is.
They're
a unique dude.
They're a nutty but confident family.
It's very common that I see this like shared on social media, and it's like an old one, but it was what's her name? Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
It was an interview she had done, and she had Willow sitting next to her, and the whole thing was just like why she puts herself first over her husband and her children. But it was like, and everyone always shares it. Like, it's this great thing. And she's just like, I have to be first. My children have to be second. Or else I will not be a good mother to you. And I was like, people love this thing and share it like, lesson learned. And like, I'm sure it's great. I'm not sure that's great.
This is people that hate their kids and their husband. Kids, as you know, me and your father come first. He's Will Smith. I'm Jada Pinkett. Then we'll worry about whipping your hair and putting you in your dad's movies. Well, there is a thing, like when you're on the airplane and it says, put the mask on yourself first before anyone else. If you're fucked up, you can't help people.
Right.
Right?
It's kind of her point. But the way the way she does it is she's so indulgent the way she's talking about it, and I get the premise that you can't just be a miserable person and then expect to give joy to others.
To me, she needs to change her name to Overacting Fish Mooney, because that's the only way I see her now. Perhaps we'll go down to the dock. Like, easy, honey. I know you're in a cartoon movie, but nobody's going to put you in anything else again. Who was the crazy old Catwoman, the black Catwoman from the 70s, from the 60s?
Eartha Kitt?
Eartha Kitt never got out of that Catwoman phase. The rest, whatever movie she was in, she stayed Catwoman.
This is Eartha Kitt. I was thinking about, like, when we came to New York, there was not... there wasn't screens yet. Yeah. And they just had the announcement.
In the cabs.
And so hers was one of them. Like Yo-Yo Ma had one, like, don't leave your stuff in the trunk at the time. But hers was like, this is Eartha Kitt. And when I get out of the cab, I watch out for bicycles. You're like, what? What was that?
I always, those things, nobody knows about those who didn't live here back then, but like, let's get ready to rumble for safety.
Right.
I think of that every time I get into a cab.
This is Joan Rivers. Can we talk about leaving things behind in your cab? But now, no one warns you that you left things behind.
No.
And by the way, it's probably my most paranoid that I get out of the cab and start looking around.
Yeah.
That's
It's
why
a terrible feeling.
Uber, they give you the driver's number in case you left anything.
Yeah, I don't trust that, though. No, that fucking guy will be selling it 5 minutes from now.
That shit's gone.
Tuesday's going with the win. All right, we got a break here. Good edition today. We're right back, Bennington. Hey, it's the Bennington Show. Tuesday. Got a nice jump on the week. Jumped right over Monday into Tuesday, thanks to Memorial Day. A lot of people were mad at the president's daughter because she tweeted out, here's a fun idea for Memorial Day, champagne popsicles. And people were like, oh, what a great way to remember my dead relative from Vietnam. Champagne popsicles. But I didn't take it that way. I mean, people do enjoy their weekend. They don't just sit around, remembering things. Send Vito in here. I understand he brought some stuff in here for us to play with.
Vito? Yeah, I think that's being a little harsh for no reason. I think we all... That's like everyone barbecues. How is that any...
I didn't...
Well, I mean, it's typical.
If you want to know the
Shit
truth,
weather,
I watched that... what is this?
It's a fidget spinner.
Oh, this is what we talked about on Friday.
All right, so what I did was watch that Navy SEALs documentary, the history of the Navy SEALs, on, I guess it was History Channel. Fantastic.
Was it
I
good?
can watch stuff about the Navy SEALs forever.
They're fascinating.
Well, here's the deal, too. You know how everybody says that Scientology is this cult? The Navy SEALs are kind of a cult, too. Like, there's no way I would do that boot camp and come out of it and not be just like, I believe what the SEALs believe.
Right.
This is all I do. I just spin like this?
Yeah, you just spin it, and then you could do stuff like where you like wave it around.
Man, it spins. It just keeps going once you hit it, though, huh?
Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
Balance it.
Holy shit.
I have never seen a wheel turn like that. Now, what's it supposed to do for you?
It's just supposed to like calm you and relax you while you're like doing work and like keep you focused. It started as like an autism toy.
Yeah, they were like autism and ADD, also like or ADHD. I don't remember which one. They were saying like it's good for kids to have in class because it like you can focus on something and listen to it, and then your nervous energy or whatever. Like if you're a fidgety person, kind of goes into.
I think this would be great if you were tripping.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's a weird thing. So I have a friend who is teaching a class, and I spoke to her a couple days ago, and she was complaining about fidget spinners, and she was like, fidget spinners are the worst thing that's ever happened. It's everything that's wrong with kids today. I'm playing with one of these. How is this ever? This is literally a kid of any time would play with this.
Yeah.
This is like, it's actually the most basic toy.
It's a basic bitch.
That like... You know what I mean? Like, those
I don't
trends.
think if I was teaching, I'd want to see this in the room, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I could get it. Like, from a like, I don't want to go to the stand and be sitting there and just have everybody spinning.
But don't you think this is just like? But it definitely is not the problem with young people
Like
today.
you said, if they had these in the 1950s, people would still pay with it.
100%. Because every era has a fidget spinner. It's like there's always that toy that's kind of usually pretty basic, cheap to buy. Kids get into them, and then teachers take them away
But
from
that's
students.
part of youth. You should have a toy that you're playing with the teachers take away.
Exactly.
Whether it's a yo-yo, clackers, now fidget spinners. But what do you pay for each spinner?
So they go for around like $7-8, but then you get in your luxury fidget spinners. Then you're talking maybe $20. Some could go for as much as a few $100s.
This one feels pretty luxurious.
That one, I got that one for a nice deal of $9.99. Because I thought you'd want a colorful one. Chris, I got a plain black one. His was $5.
Nice.
And that nice white and black piece right there, that was $9.95.
Expense these, Chris. I don't want him going in pocket for that. But this is really fun.
Yeah, they're really. I like them. They're a fun conversation starter.
Yeah,
you walk into a bar with
Okay.
walk into a bar, go up to a girl, get a drink.
Hold on. Now you're saying you're using what was like the guy who like
a mystery?
Mystery? Like what was his secret? Peacocking. But it would be like if you come in with like a conversation piece, like he used to tell people like, wear a fuzzy top hat. And then the girl will be like, what's the deal with that guy?
I do.
It's like, you want to sleep with me, don't you?
I do agree that if I get people talking about my fuzzy top hat, they're in the palm of my hand.
Another one that he said is always great was a feather boa. Wear a feather boa into the bar, and girls would be like, I want to play with that. And
Do you know what was one that always worked for me when I was single? Wear my dick on my outside of my pants. I'm like, hey. I don't know. I would say, who wants to go on a helicopter ride? I just have a fucking spinning. I could probably just do this with my penis right here, like this fucking fidget spinner.
That's luxurious.
Dude, these are great.
In the future, penises will spin like this. You watch.
I wish the future was now.
But yeah, little kids, like even at birthday parties when I'll be working, I'll see like 5 kids running around like playing sports while holding them and shit.
What sport are they playing that they're holding?
Like soccer. Like they'll be playing soccer and I'll like see them like just because they're not like actual like kids really into soccer. They're just at like Trevor's 8th birthday party. And like they'll just see a
By
kid
the time
like,
you're 8, you should be able to play sports.
just walking around and running with it like
Trevor's
that.
got a pretty baller ass birthday party though.
Yeah, Trevor balled out.
I'll tell you what, one thing. If I saw a fucking kid doing this and I was playing soccer, I'm sliding right into him. I'm going to try to fucking rip out his ACL. And this is what his knee's going to look like right there. Like this kind of-
Oh my god, it's very fun.
Okay, we just told North Korea that we are ready to launch our nukes from our submarines.
Oh, God.
Anytime they want to fucking play a game. All right, Trump just sent them to a telegram because they're not online. They still get old school telegrams. And Trump sent them a telegram that said, "Want to dance? Daddy loves to dance." And had a picture of his shoes there. I guess taps. I don't even know if they were his.
Gotcha.
He's acting like
He'll
they
figure
are.
it out.
No, then he just said, "I'll have Jared Kushner open up a back channel with you if you want to."
It's getting surprisingly more open with this stuff, though.
I think it's better that he's more open. It's the cover-up that gets you in trouble.
I know. He's like, here's what I'm going to do. It's going to be highly unusual for a president.
So I guess the big rumor is, I don't know whether you saw the Germans, but they're pretty much saying that he's not coming back. He's not coming back for the climate control thing. He's not going to be part of it. And they're going to have to do without us.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He said, not only are we not part of that, he says, we'll pollute like never before.
Out of spite.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, water supply.
Weird days we live in.
Yeah, him and the Angela are not getting along very well. They seem to have a lot of tension.
He's just not liked in Europe.
Or most of America.
Why didn't he just show up with fidget spinners?
Oh yeah, if he sent those to North Korea.
Hey, let's stop. Play with us for half an hour. Then call me. I bet you'd be in a better mood. Any other news stories you guys want to talk about? Because we got, I believe, a guest stopping by. This is going to be sad. You're a Silicon Valley fan.
Yeah.
Chris, you are.
Yes.
TJ Miller not coming back next year.
Yeah, and it's weird because the last episode, like, they're setting him up to have, like, a bigger spot in this season than he's had the past few years.
Or maybe it's the spinoff why he's leaving.
Ooh.
How would you write him out of the show?
I don't know, because it's not like he's done anything. Like, he doesn't have any qualities that would lead to a spinoff, because he's
not spinning off. He's leaving the show. Yeah. The qualities that you say that he doesn't have, Hollywood wants for movies.
No, yeah.
I'd kill him off. Just to make sure he's not. Yeah, it's fine.
How are you going to kill him?
Maybe drown in the pool, possibly. It'll be an accident. It wouldn't be anything like really dark, but it'll be
I don't
a silly
see that
accident.
as funny.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. Like, it's one thing to do it to, like, a character you didn't care that much about, but it would be hard for somebody who's been, like, an integral part of the show.
I think he's been the number one laugh getter on the show.
Yeah, because when it's always like a somber moment, he's the one who comes in and just
breaks
says
it up.
something. Yeah, I think maybe he finally gets a success and makes money and just leaves that way.
Could happen. Or he does something fucked up and goes to jail, which could be under the right circumstances. Funny.
With that Haley Joel Osment character that just showed up.
Did you guys see the video of the walking newborn? They're calling it. I really don't believe that the baby's walking, just moving its legs. But even that's pretty spectacular.
All right, so I saw this video, and I think what's the phenomenal thing is the strength. Like, that baby is holding his weight, but I don't know if I would call this walking, but it's certainly a super strong baby. It is weird that he has the instinct to do it.
Yes, those are steps.
Like, he is moving his legs in a way that, like, it seems like he wants to travel with his legs, which is already a weird thing.
I remember doing that with toddlers, and people would get mad at me and said, you can't start walking until you're ready to walk.
Really?
But I never saw anybody suffering like, oh, my uncle tried to get me to walk to so now I'm fucking bow-legged.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it isn't.
Like, this baby definitely wants to walk. But look at the strength. Like, he's really holding on to her really well.
Or is it just latched around?
Well, like, that's an instinct that babies have. Like, their grip is pretty good, actually. Like,
yeah, the idea is grab like your finger and stuff.
Yeah, and they can kind of hold on to your weight. Like, they can kind of cling pretty well, and it's just like a survival thing in case somebody almost drops them or something. They have a pretty good hold on you.
Scared me. I just thought about dropping a baby.
I know, it's really...
What about the way they know how to suck?
Yeah, they just immediately know.
Like, they're not doing any sucking in the womb.
No.
You know what I mean? They got that tube connected right to their fucking belly, which is mind-blowing. Like, oh, you're too dumb to eat or drink. Let me just run a tube right into your goddamn belly button.
Yeah, and then they, like, I think they might be able to smell the milk, too. Like, they have an instinct where they know when their mother is nearby. So they'll cry for it because I think they can also smell it. This is really strange. Why
can't they just take a glass of milk then?
But
I mean, they can suck. Why not give them a milkshake, like a straw with a milkshake? Oh, God.
Tastes better.
Mm. Yeah, because it's got syrup in it. Kushner just said he will not give up any part of his portfolio, and he means his modeling portfolio.
Please, we must see it.
Hello Bullfrog up on there.
Oh yeah,
that 13-pound bullfrog.
13-pound bullfrog, and it has like its limbs are like human looking. Like it has thighs.
Well, you know when you ever eat frog legs?
No.
So you eat them, and then you get down to like the skeleton, and it's kind of sick because it looks like a person. It looks like literally like more like a person than anything else that you've ever eaten before.
Yeah, because the leg length and like the knee situation, it's like it's where the knee meets. Holy shit!
Jesus, get that as big as you can.
Oh my! When I was still thinking, even though you said 13, I thought it was going to be like still.
It's hanging down, and see how like we were saying about the thighs. You brought up the knee.
Yeah, that's really weird looking. Yeah.
Where's this at that you could have a bullfrog that big?
South Texas.
They get everything bigger
Wow.
in Texas.
That is really, really creepy looking. I had no idea. Yeah.
It'd be like having a person try to jump out at you.
Yeah, like I'm.
Do we have any of them moving?
No, it only went up as like that guy just put up that one picture on like a Facebook
Photoshop.
hunting. It got disproved as Photoshop, but they said it like a lot of people are disputing like is he just holding it close to the camera? I think it's just a big ass frog because
I don't care if he's holding it close to the camera. I've never seen a frog. I'll say that's 50 times bigger than a frog I've ever seen. At least 50 times bigger. And I've seen like a big frog like, ooh, that's gross. And that looks like he could date that frog.
I know. Look at the gut of the frog. Like, look at the shape of the belly.
You know how people say if you had to bang an animal, which animal? I've moved myself over a frog.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not hairy, so you got that going for it.
Mm-hmm.
The size is right.
Yeah.
And those legs are kind of hot.
Yeah. I'll wrap those legs right around my waist. Yeah, what kind of animal would you have sex with?
I read that veal is the most like veal is
Veal?
Yeah, I read
Even
this.
a calf.
So I read this whole thing that like
You're
a veal.
You just called it by the meat.
If you like, I read
It's
this,
a calf, though. You would have sex with
That's a baby.
underage calf.
apparently a veal feels the most like a human vagina.
Why do you keep calling it a veal?
You know what? He's talking about fucking a veal like before you cook it. That's not what we're talking about. We're saying an
Oh,
animal.
a live animal, a pig.
We just
Why don't you just fuck sausage then? Jed's face is so grossed out by him pounding veal. But the way you made it sound like you would have sex with a baby cat.
And that's what I was like. So
Because
he
we
has
said
an
what
animal, not what meat product.
I immediately just thought of the thing I read that veal is like a human vagina, but no, pig. I've
You
also
read or experienced?
I've never tried it out yet. But
Yet.
yeah, I mean it's always on the table if I know about it.
Veal's on the
Kids
table.
table. How about you, Chris?
Like a declawed mountain lion, because I don't want to risk getting fucked up.
No, you're fucking with an animal, not the way
Yeah.
you want to do. You can't
Yeah,
cut off
you're
its
not-
arms and legs.
We're not
Cut the
sick.
arms and legs off a turtle.
We're not disgusting, Chris. We're not going to mutilate
I
an
don't
animal
like-
for your sexual pleasure.
Seriously, even if someone said I had my cat declawed, I'm freaked out by that.
Yeah, because I have the same feeling about that when somebody says a bird's wings are clipped. I'm like, that's the most horrible thing.
You're declawing a mountain lion before you bang it.
Yeah.
I'll kill it
You're-
afterwards.
What?
Oh
With
my
your
God.
cock? What are you talking about?
No, like
You're going to kill the animal
Fuck
that
it
you
to death?
fuck?
I would if it's just like a a wildcat. Yeah, there's plenty of
This
them. They're not
is so
endangered.
dark.
You're a rape murderer.
Because you're going to
Yeah.
you're going to
He
kill
does
the animal
same
you
thing he
fuck.
does on his Tinder dates. By the way, I know his Tinder's off the table for you, bro.
Yeah, it's fucking dry out there.
What's going on?
Reputation.
Have I gone through everyone in New York? I mean, I'm fucking swiping fast.
You have crabs, don't you?
I
That's
don't
what it
have
is.
any STDs as far as I know.
I don't think crab is an STD. I think it's just a pet.
Yeah, because I think you. That's the animal he chose to have sex
Yeah.
with. That's all.
But it's like no one calls head lice a disease. You just got fucking lice.
Yeah, just crotch lice.
Yeah.
It's fine. The chlamydia, that's an STD. I had that before.
Yes.
It's fine.
Well,
That's just the Bernie P one.
what you don't have is any Tinder dates.
Or dignity.
You should have stayed with those fucking girls you had a chance with.
I didn't want to stay with those crazy ones. One's in rehab now. Another one's fucking. Most of them don't even talk to
The
me.
one that you were with for 22 days was the one.
Mr.
she had.
Big.
Mr. Big, I think she blocked me. At least that's what she said she would do if we ever stopped talking, and we have. I didn't want anything to do with her. She had a freak out.
What was the freak out about?
You have a freak out.
It was that like, the one last times I saw her, she was just fucking yelling at me about how I was gaslighting her or some shit. But she
You
was
probably
just,
were.
But I wasn't. She was just fucked up.
You just
Yeah,
said
but
murder
you
like
did.
animals.
You
Good
did
point.
play games with her. You even told us.
Played no games with her.
But she was like, "Oh, I feel like you're my boyfriend now," and you're like, "Let me get back to you," and then you didn't.
You were just like, nah,
playing
baby, we
games.
just had sex 50 times.
That's all. So let's not fucking talk to each other.
I miss her.
I
She
don't.
was the one I liked.
No, well, really? I thought you liked the girl with the good hair.
You
Okay.
never had a chance with her.
By the way, remember with the fake frog that you brought in today? Snopes has called it a forced perspective. Makes the frog look bigger than it is.
We look like idiots.
Optical illusion created by extending the frog forward to the camera.
But you're still, I've never seen a frog with that much of a detailed body. Like, it has to be much bigger than a normal frog.
Yeah, I mean,
why not just show us the actual size of the frog? Why fuck with us so Snopes has to step in?
I also agree. Like, how long is this guy's arms? I mean, like,
he's not a big man. He can't be holding it that far away.
Are you Snopes? They do this for a fucking living.
I'm not Snopes.
I'll go to Snopes in a heartbeat, and I believe in them 100%. They've never let me down. This guy fucking got us, and by us I mean fucking Vito. The only reason why you're okay is because you gave us these fun things.
And we're loving every minute of it.
Just fidgeting the spinner.
Listen to that sound. It's very soothing.
Yes, for yourself, not for others.
I love fidgety.
Welcome to 2017.
I'm going to put some razor blades on here and make it more fun for everybody.
Looks like we're in for a little game.
All right, I want to see the angry pedestrian. That seems to be the thing of the day.
This guy makes me pretty happy. So this is a circumstance. Guy is walking down the street and immediately starts yelling at the car as it's hitting the stop sign.
Uh-huh.
And this is as the people say, an instant karma, although we've already agreed that that's not a thing. You got it?
Yeah, here it is.
How hard is this for you to do, Chris? Something that's simple.
All right, here he goes.
Oh,
Who's he mad at?
He was mad at the guy, I guess, because he felt like he was going too fast.
And then he starts laughing at
Is he wearing a Make America Great Again hat?
It looks like he is, but I'm not entirely sure. But here he is. He's mad because he's going too fast, but he did stop. And then
That's great.
walks into the pole. But like, I love that he puts his fist up to the guy like, how dare you?
I think he also feels like if I wasn't yelling at you, I wouldn't have ever hit that.
Exactly. So then the guy starts laughing at him and just feels just mocked out.
To me, like, remember when you were a kid and the opening, you would make an ass out of yourself in front of girls or something.
Right.
It would be the fucking worst thing that could happen. Like, you'd be trying to look cool and then you fucking stumble and the girls would laugh, and these girls that you cared about, now you despise.
Nothing feels worse than that. I had that circumstance like first day at a new school, and I like hopped up and sat on top of a bike rack because I was talking to a boy and fell completely backwards, like feet up in the air, like skirt went flying.
What a dork.
It was so embarrassing. And I honestly was like, I'm not fucking coming back here. Like, this school's over. Yeah. Like, that was my first day. I'm done.
Why is that the one thing that he worries about? Bob.
Yes.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, a couple days ago, I think I saw a video pop up with Luis J. Gomez doing all kinds of crazy tricks with one of those fidget spinner things. I'm driving. I'd send it to you.
Okay.
It was kind of cool.
Was it on his Instagram or Twitter?
I think so, yeah. So, well, one of those two.
All right. We're going to look around for them.
Cool. Peace out.
Peace. All right, so there he
Let's
is.
see.
Okay, here's Gomez.
It looks like he has a cool one. That's just a picture. Go to the video, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
He's throwing it.
Oh, shit.
Damn, Gomez.
Louis is the cool kid in town.
Oh, my God. I'd be so embarrassed if I fell off the bike rack in front of him.
Don't even say you like him. We'll make all the other boys mad. You're not allowed to give Louis the slightest fucking thing without the rest of the skanks fucking freaking out. Yeah, tweet that out from us as if it is now. Just say, hey, look at the cool kid.
Man, he is like tossing it back and forth, and then this one was really impressive. Hopped it onto his finger.
Yeah.
How the fuck?
How long has he been using these fidget spinners?
I mean, they haven't been
Just
up.
5 minutes. That's all it takes for him to get cool.
Man, he's cool. He's the coolest.
What is it, Vito? You're waving at me.
I got a Bennington barometer for you guys.
All right.
Fidget spinner or yo-yo?
Well, I just had a fidget spinner for 5 seconds, so I'm going to say yo-yo.
No, but look at how much fun you're having with it. When's the longest you played?
What?
What's the longest you played with a yo-yo?
I don't know, a couple years?
Yeah, people got obsessed with them.
Yo-yos were big for like hundreds of years.
Yes.
And why do you just say this thing without playing the opening and all that? When did you change so much?
I don't know.
It used to be different. These fidget spinners changed, yeah. Used to be cool.
I got to put together a new one.
Well, that was a great barometer. Thanks, Vito. Anyone else got one that we can play?
I have one. All right. Jackrabbit Slims or Big Kahuna Burger?
Jackrabbit Slims, not even close for me.
$5 shake. Is that what does
$5
it?
shake. You can get alcohol in it, and there's Dan contest. I got news for you. I don't even know if I'd like a Big Kahuna Burger. I don't want a bunch of fucking Hawaiian shit on my burger. We discussed this today.
Pineapple?
Like pineapple or whatever, fucking mango. Like, what makes it a Big Kahuna? Like, I find a Hawaiian pizza to be fucking gross as shit.
I just don't think it's pizza. It's its own thing. I can't imagine going, I'm craving a pizza. What I want on it is pineapple and ham. Those are two different cravings that you're having. Why are you combining them into one thing?
They're insane.
I got a barometer.
Just a barometer? Doesn't matter who it goes to?
Bennington barometer. Sonny Chiba or Jackie Chan?
I'm going to say Jackie Chan because Jackie Chan is incredibly funny.
Jackie Chan is the best.
Jackie Chan is the most remarkable physical comedian I've ever seen in my life. And then he also does karate. Why don't we break here? We're right back, Bennington. This Friday, we will have Dimitri Martin as part of the Unmasked. These Unmasked are coming fast and furious this year, faster than ever.
I don't think we've ever had so many like one after another. It's a big year for you. Big Unmasked year.
And then also maybe we'll play that Greg Ullman interview this week. We'll go back, and a lot of people were complaining on the website that we had it as 1G, and it's 2Gs.
It's a double G.
Yeah.
Up on the iBang, there's 2 stories, and I'm going to have you guys tell me which one do you think is more disgusting.
God.
All right. The snake video. I'll show you first. This is a snake that has swallowed another snake, doesn't sit right with it, still alive, and completely regurgitates a snake of the same size of the snake.
This is already the most disgusting. There can't be anything more disgusting.
Look at it retching, and then it starts to wriggle out backwards.
Well, that was too much snake for it to eat.
Oh, look at they're pretty much the same exact size.
Yeah. Oh, this is the grossest thing I've ever seen.
It's so disgusting.
Nothing could be worse than that.
All right.
Oh.
Take that.
That's like watching a cock fucking sucking off a dick.
Take that up against Shaq's foot.
I saw the headline for Shaq's foot and didn't go looking at it.
You found this one, right, Vito?
Yeah. I saw it while I was at a bar, and it was fucking awful.
So this is
great.
Shaq.
So you saw this at a bar, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
His foot was out at a bar.
Who would use that as the story? I saw this when I was at a bar, and it was disgusting.
All right, so here is Shaq. Now, Shaq had shared this picture himself.
So he was doing like the halftime report for a playoff game, and he took off his shoe and he just started showing his foot to everybody on camera.
Why?
Because he was just complaining about his foot. Like, that foot almost derailed his career. He had to get surgery on his big toe. And
oh my gosh, why is it so jacked up?
NBA players.
It's like boot foot.
Yeah, he probably got it stomped on his entire life.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like-
And plus he grows like a freak probably. You know what I mean?
All right, look at him sticking his foot out. That's almost like that frog, where it's like it makes it look really insanely huge because he's got it so close to the
What's
camera.
his toe go straight down? Oh.
Yeah, it almost looks like the meat of the toe is going one way and the bone of the toe is going the other. And then on top of that, it's the world's thickest nail. Like the nails look so thick that he already
All right, I'm going to take his foot over the snake, puking another snake. That's worse.
Something about a thick toenail.
Dude, I almost fucking went down on that. I almost hit the fucking floor.
And then the pinky toe is just hanging on for like dear life at the end.
Oh man, I didn't even notice.
You're descriptive.
Why is the pinky toe shaped like that? It's actually a triangle. Like, why is it that one part of his toe is bent one direction completely? And it does look like the skeleton of the toe has a different idea.
Being Shaq is physically must just be terrible. Just with the bad toes.
That's from a personality point of view. It must be terrible.
There's
Bad
the
life
close-up.
choice.
There's a close-up of the
dude.
nail.
I've seen him all he can handle. I can't see this no more.
And I tell you, when I was a little kid, I have this memory that I was crawling on the floor and everybody was at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm crawling along and I'm looking at everybody's feet. And I stop because I see just a horror that I had never seen before. And it was my great-grandmother's foot. My mom's grandmother, and I had never seen toenails shaped like this. I think it's something that happens.
I think when you get older, your toenails just get thick.
But it's like the toenail was so thick, and like the pinky toe looked just like a cashew. Like it was so rounded, and like claws, like
Stay
talons.
off the floor. Stop crawling around down there.
And I remember just like petrified and shaking, like that shot in The Shining when he sees the twins and he's just like can't move.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
That's the worst story.
And I just thought, is this what we all have in store for us?
I think it may be.
Horrible feet with cashew toenails.
Before I get a cashew toenails, I'll fucking hang myself.
You won't do it.
I'll do it with an old 1980s telephone cord.
So your vote is for Shaq's toe.
Well, Shaq's toe is the grossest thing ever. The fact that it showed it on TV, bravest broadcaster in history.
I mean, so
that
much.
should end a career.
It's body positivity.
I'll think of it throughout the whole fucking finals.
Now think of all those times that everyone was like always comparing, like you said, like Shaq's shoe. It's like gets like mentioned, like you put your foot up next to it. That's what's on the other side, dude.
And like he has a 22 foot, and then that toe looks big compared to his foot.
Yeah. His toe is the size of the average man's fucking shoe.
He actually, his actual foot is a regular size foot. It's just mostly just the length of toenail. Chris, what's your vote?
I mean, the foot's disgusting, and he's a human being, so I can relate to that more. But the snake regurgitating on the snake was what fucking freaked me out more. I've never seen
Somebody
it
would
before.
like to lick Shaq's toe.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. That's what happens if you didn't pick it. Then now you're gonna go down on Shaq's toes.
I have to go down on it. I can't just like lick it.
Actually, I don't really know what they call it. Like if you have a foot fetish, I don't know.
Foot job.
I thought foot job is when you use the foot on the genitals.
Maybe I'm wrong then. Sorry, everybody. Sorry to all the FFs out there.
Where my FFs at? There's got to be a situation.
Yeah, I've watched like the foot porn, and it just doesn't do it. I bet
you have.
I have. I was like, because it seems foot fetish is really popular. It's like, all right, I'll give this a shot. I'll watch some foot porn and see if it does anything for me, and it just doesn't. It's just like,
But do you need to watch foot porn to know that you're not into feet? Like, isn't that the thing? Is like they see a foot and they're attracted to it. Like, I don't think you need to explore the world. Like, I think it's pretty immediate.
I would also say this: most people that have foot fetish are very adamant about what kind of foot they want. Like the average girl's foot would not pass the fucking grade.
Agree. I asked this. I once went to get a pedicure with some coworkers, one of which was a guy who we found out had a foot fetish. And we were like, well, this just makes us feel weird. We're getting a pedicure with you and you have a foot fetish. And he was like, oh, I have no attraction to either of your feet. And I felt very upset.
Everyone is.
And he said for her feet, he didn't like it because it looked like a woman who's been wearing heels all her life. So too buniony. And he said for me, he said in his mind, if he were to be attracted to my foot, it would be like if he was a pedophile. He thinks that I have the feet of like a small boy.
With baby toes.
Like, it's not a womanly foot. It's like a youngster's foot. He's like, that looks like a small boy. I was like, first of all, why did it have to be a boy? It could have been a young girl's foot.
He looks at far too many feet that he's going to know even what a child's foot looks like.
He's like, oh, you disgusting broads? No way. I'm into only the finest of feet.
Your foot doesn't look developed enough.
But, like, I think that that's the thing is that I think you wouldn't need to, it's not like something you would need to explore. I think for people who have a foot fetish, it's like on the level as if they're looking at breast or ass for anyone else.
100% true, yes. You don't explore it. It's there or it isn't there.
Yeah. And I think that it's like, usually they tie it to something from your childhood.
But it's a lot more people than you think. A lot more. Like, I have a lot of friends who are like, I got to spend a little bit, some time on the toes. It's not that they don't have sex.
Right.
But they do enjoy going to the toes very early on. And it's very rare. I never heard a woman say, I'd love to have my feet licked and my toes sucked. But I guess they're out there.
Or at least it seems like it wouldn't bother you any. Like for me, I was like, well, someone's rubbing your feet. You might not be sexually turned on. You're like, it's very easy.
But you never hear a woman say, is there something wrong with my feet? You're not licking my toes though. What are you tapping away over there, Tappy?
Oh, no. Our guest hit some traffic and just let me know I'll be here soon.
Can we have somebody else do that so we're not doing that in this room? Or why don't you guys switch out? Whatever you need to do. If you're the guy who handles the guests. I thought it was going to be you, Vito.
Yeah, I should have gotten his number from Chris.
It's a never-ending thing no matter how many times we discuss it. But what I always suggest is you switch out, and then you could be nervous over there.
Everything's taken care of.
No, this part isn't taken care of. Is what I'm not worried about what time he gets here, if he gets here at all. We're almost at the end of the show. What I'm trying to tell you is I don't want to look over and you're tapping on your phone the whole time. So I say, why don't you let Vito handle the guests? You don't want to do that, so switch out with him, and then it'll be fucking great. Either way.
Either way, don't be stressed, because it's not a big deal.
No stress. Won't happen again. This was just a last second thing, so that's all. That's why Vito wasn't handling it.
It's the same thing that we say over and over. I'm not going to fall for that fucking thing.
He is very guarded with his contacts, though. He does like.
You know what I want you to do? Fucking print up all the contacts, hand them out to everybody, so everybody will have the contacts.
Got it. I will do that.
Great. I look forward to that tomorrow. You'll have the contact fucking thing, and we'll all get like a little notebook with all the contacts.
I'd like mine in a Rolodex, an old school Rolodex.
I miss the Rolodex. Because you could just twirl it a little bit before you called anybody.
And like it was like a very impressive thing. Like I feel like people used to do it like let's see, I know I have this guy somewhere. Be like this massive thing they'd be going through. I don't think you have the same vibe with just like scrolling through contacts. You're like looking at it, it's like this guy has a spool of contacts.
As a kid, the Rolodex was very mysterious to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then when did you finally figure out what it was and it stopped being so mysterious?
It was probably maybe in middle school when I actually figured out what a Rolodex was.
I wish it was there for that coming of age movie. I like it. This summer I found out about a Rolodex. All right, there's Spicer, and I heard the saddest Spicer story. So he's a giant Catholic, Sean Spicer. Loves being a Catholic. And a lot of people don't anymore. A lot of people said, I was raised Catholic, which is a way of saying, I don't do a Catholic. He does. They go over to the Pope thing. The wife comes in with Trump, the daughter, the son-in-law, all that. and they say to Spicer, we don't have enough room to bring you in to meet the Pope.
Oh my God, they're so mean to Spicer.
And they go to Italy to do it. They go to fucking Italy to do this. It's not like the Pope came to the White House and they said, Spicer, we can't bring you in. He made the fucking trip. And they're in there with 2 Jews they take in. 2 Jews. And they don't bring in the Catholic. And you think Trump would want to go, there's my Catholic. But these guys always end up on Trump's bad side.
Oh my God. See, like that guy has the roughest job. Just treat him like shit.
Treat him like shit.
I mean, Trump just puts the boots to him because that just sounds mean-spirited.
Your chances to get to meet the Pope are a long shot.
Yes.
Like he drove past my house once and there were fucking people waiting on the rail waving. But then when you got up to the park, those people were 100 deep.
Yeah.
Right? All along Central Park. You couldn't even get close. I knew how he was going to get to Central Park. I knew where he was getting off the FDR because they had closed off my block for like fucking 4 days. So I'm like, you know what? When he comes by, I'll be just standing out front. A bunch of other people in my neighborhood. But I mean, you could walk up and go to the rail.
Yeah.
You know, I was sitting there with a cigar and a fucking cup of coffee and the fucking Pope come by. He rolls down the fucking, he's got the same car as you.
Yeah. It's like a Mini.
Yeah, he's riding around in a Mini and he's just waving as he goes by. And then I hear him get to Central Park and I just hear, "Argh." You know what I mean? But it was like you got to go to U2 sound check instead of going to the concert.
My great aunt was telling the story of her and her sister meeting the Pope on her deathbed. Like that's how much, like that. And that's
they had met a Pope pre-World War II.
Yeah.
And she was still telling the story in the 90s.
Yes. And like, yeah, she was just a teenager. And like, it was a common story, but it was like, of all the stories she wanted to like relive, that was one that she wanted to talk about.
I couldn't imagine meeting a Pope.
The last Pope who came in, not this one, no one gave a fuck.
No.
The only people who went out to see him were the Mexican people. There was one white face to see that Pope. The Mexicans stay Catholic, but nobody wanted to meet that Pope. This Pope, people fucking love.
He's got celebrity status.
Yeah.
Like, he is very beloved. And, like, of course, everybody who is not Catholic, they're like, I feel like this Pope is all right. Like, everyone's decided this is the good Pope.
What it is. When he went to Brazil, there was more people than I ever saw in one fucking place, ever. And he's from Argentina.
Yeah.
Argentina. And they normally hate each other because of football.
Yeah, like, I just feel bad for Spicer because he easily could have squeezed into that weird Addams Family picture they took.
I feel bad for him. But you know what? It's the scorpion and the frog, Spicy. It's the scorpion and the frog. You're on your own. You think you can make friends with a fucking scorpion.
You can't.
You can't. It's their nature. You can't blame the scorpion for his own nature.
No. You stay outside.
Spicer is answering all the Kushner fucking questions today.
I'm sure he's finding his way around it.
Well, he's here.
Mr. Kurt Metzger is coming in studio. Kurt's currently going on tour.
Kurt Metzger, been a long time, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay, man. I got somebody tried to like rob me like just before the holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I went to a bodega I shouldn't have and used my ATM, but I got like one of those chase notices.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't just get like my card was shut down, so I couldn't get money.
Yeah.
And then there was a holiday, I forgot. So I just had like no cash for the holiday.
Now, it's the thing where the
skimmer?
Yeah, the skimmer, the Russians.
That's happened to me twice.
Yeah.
These Russians? Is that who's up to it?
Yeah, the Russian mob. I had done jury duty, and it was just one of those cases, one after another after another. They got them in the cabs, they got them in the ATMs, they got them in the bodega. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it happen to me twice, and both times were in yellow cabs that I used my card in. Now, I just don't take yellow cabs
It's
anymore.
a cab. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. But that's what, because the time when supposedly they tried to take the cash out, it was like right after that. I thought a bodega, but it's a cab, dude.
You know, these, well, first of all, use cash as much as you possibly can.
Oh,
Do not stay away from cards. Because A, things like that happen, and B, it seems like it's free, so you don't pay attention to it. And I'll say this: you look a lot better when you bring out a wad of cash. You know,
Yeah.
you're just like, what do I use? 1,600, 20, 40. Seriously,
It's like a drug dealer. to do that.
Yes, exactly like a drug dealer. But I like to even do that in the store. Like if I'm buying a couch, let me pay you fucking 20s.
You pay it all 20s?
Yes, much
You have
as
like
I
a
can.
briefcase of 20s?
Yes, I come in. I try to keep it in a gym bag. But you're going out on tour?
Yeah, well, I've got some road dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was on tour with Barry for a while.
Oh, how was that? Was that fun or?
The shows were amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how I could draw, so.
You were drawing?
Yeah, surprising
Nice.
amount. Like, I didn't know, I don't think I needed any of my people.
No, you didn't need all those folks together.
Yeah, I guess not.
Now, what do you think you're drawing from? Where do people know you most from?
Podcast?
Yeah.
A shocking amount. And then I think when we were here at Sirius for a while, we probably built up some listeners.
But the Race Wars is working
Race Wars, and then My Hour people
Yeah.
have heard on the radio.
Yeah.
So
That's great. How is Race Wars going?
good, man. We got we still have subscribers and shit now.
Oh, really? So it's not open to.
No, it's still open.
Yeah.
But you can also subscribe. So
Oh,
we do two
sweet.
every week. We do a free one.
I was actually bringing this up to somebody the other day. I have never seen Sherrod in anything but a good mood. Sherrod is one of the most positive people I've ever met. You're gonna
Oh, I've
disagree
seen
'cause you
all
know
the
more.
phases of. I've seen like
Yeah.
angry Sherrod for sure.
I haven't.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get him upset.
I would love to see him upset, but
well, it's fun to watch him fight somebody, but
Anytime I bump into him, he's like seems very like jovial, like
He's
just bubbly.
always jovial.
it's very specific things
Yeah.
that will upset Sherrod.
He enjoys like a monster. Like I'll see him down at the stand, and he'll have a monster and a joint, and he'll just be in the best fucking mood. Matter of fact, Jay accused me of being as white as he's ever seen me because Sherrod was sitting. You know how they'll open up the windows in the summer? Sherrod was sitting at the top, smoking joint after joint. He wasn't. I don't even think he was booked in that show. And it was wafting down into the club where people were looking around thinking that someone was smoking a joint.
Right.
And then I fucking dimed out Sherrod. I said, oh, this is Sherrod Small up there.
Oh, yeah,
and then
that's-
Jay came up and said, that's the whitest thing I've ever seen Ron do.
Yeah. Well, probably Jay was planning to smoke there, and you blew up that spot for both.
He goes back to what he calls the green room out
Oh.
back, where Sherrod is comfortable enough to smoke joints on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I follow his lead.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, or actually one time I remember Esty like caught me on the stairs.
Yeah.
Where she, but I looked, she goes, don't look for Sherrod. I was looking for Sherrod to blame, and he was nowhere. It was just, it was straight up me.
Look for Sherrod.
Yeah, she knew exactly what I
She's like the principal.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you brought up a thing, I think Sherrod there had something with Vincent D'Onofrio, and I said, well, he's a pretty big guy. And Sherrod said to me, I will fuck him up if anything happens. Something that I don't know whether it was a Twitter beef or whatever, but I
didn't hear about this. How recently?
Oh no, this had to be 6 months ago. I think they had done Opie's show. Something got tweeted politically back and forth, and they were having fun with it. And I tried to give Sherrod like, hey, he's a big guy. He was in Full Metal Jacket, and Sherrod was immediately like, no, dude.
Yeah, you know what's
fuck him
funny?
up.
Sherrod's like the king because he played the kingpin, Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
And Sherrod is like the kingpin, the Michael Winslow not Michael Winslow, Duncan, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan version of it.
Yeah, like because Sherrod's deceptively. I've seen him just like rock somebody.
You're
so.
not going to grow up in Brooklyn in the ages that he grew up and not have to battle your way through. I mean, that's just, you know.
I have no idea where it comes from because he doesn't appear to be in like fantastic shape to me. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't want to have to fight him.
Yeah. Well, I always see if somebody is confident enough to say, I'll fuck that dude up. I'm like, oh, they have fucked people up before, you know? Because there's plenty of people who go, oh, I love to argue, but I will not fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Larry David is the perfect example on his show where he'll actually turn around and run once it goes from an argument to even slightly. And there's nothing, I didn't even know that this was the thing that I love, but an old guy running away from trouble is as good as comedy can get.
Yeah, well, now I feel like I'm going to hurt my knee or something. if I have trouble.
Well, yeah, because now too, when you hurt your knee, it stays hurt.
Yeah, it's
where
not-
if you're younger, you could fall out of a car and be telling the story the next day. Now, 6 months later, like, yeah, I fell out of a car a while back. Still dealing with it. Things just don't heal.
Yeah, I had that accident. I'm totally better, but my back was bad for a while.
Yeah, and that's scary.
Yeah,
when it's bad because you're like, well,
it's a big downer.
Yeah, well, not. I remember when I was a kid, there was something like I heard my parents talking about like my grandmother or an aunt or something that fell down. And they were so concerned, and I remember thinking, I fall down like 8 times a day. What are they talking about? When you're a little kid, all you do is smash your head, your face, your body. You're going down steps.
Oh, there's like a phase where, or like a point that you hit. You're just like, oh, he can't fall anymore.
You got
That'll be the
gelatinous
end.
bones when you're a kid, but then they get brittle.
It's like you're living on the moon, where it doesn't really hurt as much. You're just slightly bouncing along. Now I don't even think I could fall on the moon without it being a big problem.
You can't survive a moon fall either?
I'd be hanging there for a while. Yeah, but anyway, we got to get Sherrod in the fight. Let's figure out somebody that he can fight.
It's not that hard. I mean, you got to just get him in the right.
Yeah.
I saw one time this homeless guy pushed it too much.
Yeah.
He was ready to just fuck this homeless guy up.
That's great.
And the guy had it coming too. And then it was somebody shoved Sherrod at a roast. Some chick that her boyfriend said something.
Yeah.
So I think he went to the guy, like, you want to take her ass whooping? I'm like, oh man. And then I had a friend, my friend Buddy Bolton, a long time ago, his comic told me about. When I first got here, he goes, no, you don't remember Sherrod fights. I'm like, oh yeah. And he told me a story about Sherrod beating up somebody. It was like he had a flashlight under his chin around the campfire. Like, he looked so horrified.
When you see something so bad that you kind of
he saw a lot of blood is what he saw.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's willing to throw down. I think it's just I don't know. He said if you get what do you call it? Like that stupid rage.
Yeah, right.
I think he'll go full tantrum rage. And
it would be interesting to know in the world of comedy how many people can actually fight. I don't mean like they're trained to fight.
Like they
I
just
mean like a street
scrapper.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who hits.
Well,
because if you didn't grow up with it, it's hard to pick up. You know.
Like
you know what? Nobody who could beat me up I've ever had to fight. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had to fight somebody who could really beat me up because somebody like big doesn't have a problem. Like I never see
You don't
people
have too much. Like you probably.
It's not. Well, no, I never have an issue like that. Like in New York, the whole time I've been here. Now Philly was different. Philly is like it doesn't matter your size or anything.
People love to fight there. It's a fighting town.
Well, they like to rob you, and the people pull a gun in a heartbeat. And Jay said, but I think whoever thinks less ahead is the winner. And it's true. So in Philly, nobody thinks more than 2 minutes ahead, so that's scary. So since when I got to New York, I thought people would size me up a little better than they, because I'm not I just shouldn't be the first person that you'd fuck with, but I don't think I'm tough, but there should be 3 people before me.
But you do look like somebody that, I don't know, would come back. Like, you look like a guy who wouldn't drop it. Like, you might show up later with a fucking...
I really will drop it. It's really in the moment. That's what I have, in a real moment. The last time I got into something was that guy popped my ear at the cellar.
Yeah.
And then, and it was nobody that could have, I don't know what he was thinking. Well, he's drunk, I guess.
Yeah, drunk people make the worst decisions.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking, but the cop that arrested him, because they called the cops on me. After this punk lost, he called the cops to say I assaulted him. And the whole crowd's like, no, he hit the comic. And then I don't know if his wife took a swing at a cop or he ended up going to jail. And his wife left him, she called some cop the N-word that was arresting her. And then she ended up with that black cop. She left the dude.
First of all,
that was the end. That guy called in. We were at Sirius. A cop called in from there.
And I tell people time and time again, we're making such progress on racism. Where a person can go from using slurs to, you know what?
Yeah.
I love that end. That's my end. And then she's able to use it, I believe.
Yeah.
She was really hot, though, man. She was a really sexy chick. And I think this dude must have felt so inadequate all the time.
Oh, sure.
And, because I said nothing that you would start a fight with me over if I'm on stage. And, you know what I mean? I said a very gentle, to someone heckling me, very gentle thing back. So it was very on stage I didn't do anything like. I was trying to give him outs to not make it a thing.
It's a common thing though I see is like the guy who has the hot girlfriend or the hot wife who is uncomfortable with the fact that he has the hot. You can see like he's just like, I don't feel in control of this situation. I know I have some sort of prize, and I don't feel like I deserve it, and it's going to make me act crazy.
Yeah, it's like if you've got a fucking bucket full of gold in a movie, like the other guys are going to fucking figure out how to take it.
I've always been told my girlfriends were too hot for me, so I never had that issue of like, do I deserve this? I'm like, that's got nothing. I deserve to never get laid again. That's just not how it's going to happen.
I saw you on Amy's show talking about you're not a jealous guy when it comes that kind of stuff.
I could be jealous for very specific things.
Like what? Like
if I think like somebody's getting like more than me with my own, you know what I mean? Or if I think like well, I know you're talking about the thing with Amy's show that specifically the open relationship. Or if I thought like I'm not number one, as you know what I mean. Like as long as I'm number one, I don't give a shit.
Right.
As long as you're number one,
everything else has to be kind of recreational. It can't be.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's I mean, that's what my girl would have said. Also, like,
No, I think.
But I don't have an issue of like I think it's like humiliation people have an issue with, not so much the sex part of someone cheating.
I would agree. Yeah. I would agree. But like you wouldn't mind her being with anybody, but should she call you first? Like, hey, I just met a guy, or
not even.
Doesn't need to.
Not even really.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to call her. So
is that something you always had, or that's something you developed over time? Like you always felt that.
I just did that with her. I never did that with anybody. It wasn't my idea.
Right.
I will tell you this: out of all the emotions I've ever felt in my life, jealousy is my least that I can stomach, and the one that I attempt to get over the most as quickly as I can. And I don't just mean with women. I mean, even like what you just brought up of like if somebody's getting more than you, blah blah blah. If you feel
I just meant with the relationship, not with careers. Like a thing you always see, right?
Right.
The like, how come he got that? But,
and there's no way to know. There's no way to know. You know what I mean? You can't turn around and go, oh, Dennis Regan got something and I didn't. When you just pick.
You think Dennis Regan's funny?
You just find someone to base your unhappiness on. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they always say like fear is the darkest point of your personality, but I actually think that jealousy is like a deeper, darker.
I think that jealousy is very connected to fear. I also think rage is connected to fear. I think any of your negative things have fear involved. There's not enough.
Well, Yoda said that.
Yeah. Is that right?
Fear leads to hate, which leads to anger.
Good point. Good
all right,
point, Yoda.
That guy knows.
The swinger thing, though, is like you kind of getting off on the jealousy. That's like if you're going to do that. That's the thing where you get off on that specifically.
That's the famous cuckold thing where a guy
cuckold's different. Cuckold is like you want to be humiliated.
Right.
Or you're talking about the porno cuckold, not the Shakespearean behind your back.
The less fun cuckold.
Yeah, right. Like that's like the black. I want a black man. It seems like a lot of Southerners like that, right?
A lot of Southerners like to see a black man with their wife.
Interesting.
I don't know why that's like. I'm just saying, the videos I've seen online, it's always like a Southern accent coming off the guy with like, that's right, baby. Like,
you enjoying it? What am I think why I watch? Now, out of all the jealousy here, Jen is the worst. Yeah. And I wouldn't think there's Jen over there, very, very pretty young lady, and you get jealous very easily.
I do. It took a while to admit it, but I do get jealous.
Jealous of what, though? Like everything or just like relationship stuff?
Relationship stuff.
Oh, a lot of people
do. Now, I know two people. They've been, well, I only know one of the two. And the whole time that I've known this person, she hasn't even been with the guy. And doesn't want to be with the guy, but gets rageful, jealous of his Instagrams and all that kind of stuff, and will call him and fight back.
Are they together?
No. They're no longer together.
Why does it matter?
I don't know.
Borderline personality?
They know they both have a problem with each other. They know this.
Oh, were they together at one time?
Yes, they were.
Oh, so they broke up and then
they broke up and they don't want to be together and they can't let go of their jealousy.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, that's difficult. That needs some addressing. Yeah,
it needs a professional.
It's going to be a murder-suicide.
Yes, what it's going to be. It's going to be a murder-suicide.
Because that's beyond just, it's jealousy plus obsessiveness. Like, it's like you add obsessive to any negative thing. Now we're out of control.
Now, do you know, like, one of the main things that guys will be cheating, and I was just reading this article, there's a occupation, and this woman said she's done it on both sides of the Atlantic, in England and here, where men won't leave her alone, and that's the nanny. And I think the reason is, it's just around the house.
You got another woman in the house who's taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
Why would you get a hot nanny ever? Why would you do that? Get a young hot nanny. It doesn't even have
to be hot.
Yeah.
It could be the older weird nanny.
They go for the old weird nanny?
Yeah. Like Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
You have to think of my penis as a child. Put it to bed, nanny.
Seriously, that's one of the funniest fucking jokes. He does it off the top of his head. My penis is the third child.
I have it dressed up like with a backpack at the table. Eat your waffles.
Take care of everybody.
But dude, that's just like we had this conversation about working in hotels and how the maids have to. I worked in a hotel and they had to have like little meetings with the maids. Like, okay, so here's what to do when somebody just opens the door with their dick out. Here's what you do, and like all of these maids, literally the entire staff was like middle-aged Asian women, like to like moms to grandmas.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not like they did not employ like hot young things who are like walking around in little skirts. It was just like people's moms.
Who fucks maids though? Like who gets managers to do that? Because I've heard of people doing that.
But it's just the same thing as like the nanny. It's like, here I am, here's my bed. You're very close to where the bed is.
Yeah. A lot of people feel more sexual in hotels. One of the things that you have in New York, and you see this in all the buildings, guys are always jerking off in the windows of the hotels.
Yeah. Really?
Business guys, Because I've stayed in, when I first moved here, I had to stay in hotels for like the first 2 months looking for a place. And you would open up the blinds and you would just see across the street, there'll be a hotel, 13, 14 guys jerking off.
And no extra charge for that.
Nothing. That was just part of the package. The all package.
As much as you wanted.
And a continental breakfast.
My penis is the third child. I swear to you, I'll never forget that fucking joke.
Ben Affleck Jr. they call him.
Kurt Metzger's in studio. He's performing May 31st at Howling Wolf in New Orleans, June 1st at Secret Group in Houston, and June 3rd at Cherokee Casino in West Siloam.
Yeah. I'm not. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, I'm not in the same. Like, me and my girl broke up a little while ago.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a single guy now.
Yeah. It was like, but it was like 10 years. It worked out just fine.
Yeah.
So.
It wasn't a bad breakup, you mean? Or?
No, we're cool.
That's good.
What was I going to say?
Are you living alone now, though? Or you got a roommate?
Yeah, I got a roommate. But I might have to move to LA pretty soon for this work I'm doing. That I'm not allowed to talk about because I signed a contract.
Oh, you are allowed?
I'm not allowed because I signed this thing.
All right, because somebody already told me who you're with, so I'm very excited for you.
Oh, yeah, I don't even want to say that on the air, but I got, I think that would even be okay, but I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, don't risk anything. Never
I had to
risk
sign
anything.
a contract that looked like the book of Numbers from the Bible, like with all the Jewish names in it.
But that's who it's with, right?
Yeah.
So it's a major star in a major project. That's all we need to say.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like I would say it now. Chris, if I said who it was in front of you, you would flip out.
Really?
Because this is one of your favorite people in the world. Gail, same of you, but Chris actually obsesses. Now, when you're working closely with someone like that, does that occur to you, or you've been around show business enough that it doesn't?
It just depends how they are.
Yeah.
They're bearing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's real comfortable. Like I really hit it off, but
But I'm going to say that guy is probably the work first, though, right? Like he's.
Yeah, I haven't worked like. I'm just going to be going to where I'm like there a lot. Like I was going from home. Like I went in a couple times, and then mostly I was here sending stuff in.
Yeah.
Like not very lately, so it was I don't know that part yet, but I'm going to be going to an office and all that, so we'll see.
Well, that's well. First of all, I'm so happy for you, and I like the idea. Well, now what are you going to do with Race Wars if you?
I'll have to figure out how to connect it.
Yeah.
Via
because you guys haven't fixed race relations yet, as much as you've been trying.
Well, we weren't. The goal was a war. The goal was the coming race war. But I was gonna. My manager has a podcast studio, so apparently, so there's some way to hook it up.
Great.
I could do it remote, and also be coming back to New York. You know, I'll just fly back and do it then.
But you're very, very happy with the deal that you signed, huh?
what to not talk about.
No, yeah, but I mean, you said it was like the book of numbers. Like, it's one of those things.
Oh, it's just I got to get my insurance back. I lost my health insurance from Writers Guild because I didn't make enough writer money.
Right.
So now I get my because Writers Guild insurance is like the sweet. I don't want to get that SAG crap that you pay for. I want the
real
sweet,
writers,
paying for it insurance.
Oh man, Writers Guild is hooked up.
Yeah, but you got to do a minimum amount of work.
Right.
Yeah. Which is tough because when you really need,
it's got to be guild. It can't just be a writing job. It's got to be there with the guild. So that's a
And also, let's face it. Anybody can get in SAG. We know a lot of people in SAG. But the Writers Guild means you've done some.
It's much more prestigious.
Now,
well, they just make you. I mean, they all just make you join if you do enough things. They just show up like you're in the guild now.
I know somebody doing it from radio. Got in from radio for writing traffic reports. But it was in New York City.
Oh, and it's covered in the.
It was part of the Writers Guild, and they would go to the big Writers Guild party every year.
So people call me up about votes and shit. And I'm like, I can't imagine caring about. I'm mostly a comic, and it's like this is like a nice little.
This is an extra thing.
But I don't even think writing like that. I kind of didn't really want to do it anymore, to be honest. But I'm not going to not do this thing.
You never were that happy of a writer. You always preferred.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate it.
Hard.
Well, it's it's. I even had pretty good jobs that weren't too. Something like, the hard thing is, like, I don't want to go to an office. I don't wake up in the morning. I want to fucking, like, tamp my personality down for the group. I don't want to do none of that. Anything like that you have to do normal, I don't want to do it. So I really got accustomed to just, I'm a comedian and, like, I sleep in late and whatever. But, so, like, Schumer is a good show for, because I can write with a group.
Yeah.
That was very good for me, to learn how to do that and, like, learn how to write sketches and, there's a lot of stuff you don't think about that's hard to do, and all these people ask me how to do it.
I think Mike Lawrence is in that thing now after doing the last thing. That now from doing that, he's kind of went out to L.A. and people are interested in his work, and then also because those roast battles got to be.
Yeah, he's a good writer, Mike.
Yeah, he is a very strong writer.
Like a little spectrum-y.
Yes.
So that's probably just. He's always coming up with like a quip.
Something no one else would think of.
Yeah, but he's a good joke writer, man, and because I want to do this thing with him so bad called Shut Up Nerd, where it's me and him talk. Because every time some nerd thing comes out, he has the opposite opinion of me, which is the wrong opinion, by the way. So I try to bully him out of his opinion, but even though he looks like a nerd, he is not like a pushover with it. He'll jab you back. So I want to have that, and then I want to have an impartial person who doesn't care about that kind of stuff come and decide who won. And then that person's going to just make fun of us instead of giving a winner. Yeah. And it's called Shut Up Nerd.
Nerd.
Yeah. I want to make that so bad with like a web series.
Well, Mike Lawrence said he takes his nerddom seriously. And he said that for him, watching Big Bang Theory was like seeing blackface in the 1930s. If you're
good, he should say it. Yeah. Nerd should be a dirty word still. I don't know why it's cool.
Yeah,
I was a nerd. That wasn't like a cool thing.
Right.
Now it's now I'm a jock. Apparently, it's amazing. I mean,
how'd you do that?
I don't know if you know I'm a bro comedian. I don't know, being right on Facebook one time. Apparently, one time you call it.
But somebody will.
Quick update, just the alleged guy, the alleged rapist. When I was broke, agent on a Super Bowl Taco Bell commercial, settlement, and right now going on auditions and working. I swear to God, I'm suing the people that were like trying to get me because you can't put somebody's name on Facebook.
Right.
That's how that worked out. I mean, it blows me away.
Yeah, life is strange that way.
I mean, it's really that boosted his career.
Right. But it's like Bonfire of the Vanities. I don't know whether you ever read that book by Tom Wolfe, but any of us could get our fucking tits stuck in the ringer, and somebody else could at the same time have something happen that ends up helping them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's the weirdest thing. But we were talking about the nerds and pretty girl nerds, Gail, you were talking about before.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, right.
Nothing is worse than that when it's
the hot girl with glasses that's like, I'm a nerd.
Yeah, and it's always like a model or an actress, and she's like, when I was in high school, I was such a nerd. And it's like always just like, I liked Superman or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like not even anything.
It's a classic. I think we had a sketch about that. Look, don't put my high school picture up. And it's like even more stunning.
Yeah.
But I know there's a million of them.
Or like how many of those girls are like, I was such an ugly duckling. And it's just like, oh, you just didn't have a makeup artist. Like you were still hot. You were still like the hot girl.
Well, that was somebody's joke about, because Hardwick has that great nerd empire.
Right.
But I really like that guy. He's a nice guy. But like, I just look at him as like a handsome dude. Like,
yes, he's the exact opposite.
But I will say, in fairness to him, I happen to see the Terminator Part 3 or Wilma Claire Danes, and there's a fat Hardwick in that. So that has to be a nerd. Yeah, so you know what? He might have just got in shape for television, and I'm not giving him his due nerdness.
Well, there's always that thing now of like, I'm a nerd, I watch Star Wars, and you're like, it's the biggest fucking thing in the world. You're
Star
as
Wars.
normal as you could be. You know?
Yeah.
And then people will also go like, I'm a football nerd. I like stats. You can't watch football, care about the stats, and consider yourself a nerd.
I consider that a nerd if you care about the stats to the point where it's like you can make predictions, like usable predictions.
That's most baseball fans, though, our whole lives.
Yeah.
Baseball
You're a
fans,
baseball fan?
Yeah, and baseball fans would work stats constantly. And now if you look at coaches of anything, they really are kind of nerds. Like, I don't know why all the actual guys that can do it need to be listening to some old man who never could do it, you know?
But you're right.
That might be white guy
These
stuff.
meat sacks cannot do anything for themselves.
But you're right that you can't really take a thing that's acceptable and cool and then call yourself. You can't be like, I'm a sex nerd. I just love having sex with people.
I was so into rim jobs. Is that nerdy?
That's such a dork.
You know what's funny, man?
It's so embarrassing.
On a road, Barry, when we were doing the tour, because Barry's like a football, because me and him were like very similar personality, except he's a jock for it. Like I would never. I'm not into sports at all. So I always bring my PlayStation and shit though, because on the road to like just because I don't want to OD or have a disease.
Right.
So he doesn't get that at all. Like he's like, oh, let's play ball. I'm like, yeah, your knees are destroyed now. I'm gonna have my knees for years because I'm playing murder games.
when you see Barry when he was younger, any of the pictures of Barry, he looks like a relief picture who's coming in to intimidate the other team. He's a big, thick black mustache.
Right. This is awesome.
Just really. But even now, I think he even like when he's drinking a little bit, he gives off that Hemingway vibe. Like he starts to chest up into people. Easy Bear.
Right? Yeah. No, but it's like jock. It's some jock shit that I've never. I never was a part of it. Like I never got it, but he has it in spades. Like still.
Well, you weren't around sports when you were younger because of the church, right?
No. I mean,
you just couldn't play.
Not because of church. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
I remember like. I think I was telling some story that I was getting bullied in school, and it just turned out they wanted me to be the quarterback all the time. They just included me in football, and I was taking it as bullying. But I just
everyone's chasing me.
No, they would come by my window because I didn't want to play at a bus stop in the morning, and they would like bang on my door, and I came out, and I was like, yeah, and they made me be the quarterback. Oh, Artie Lang and Shaw were like, wait, they just included you, and you played the best position. And I'm like, yeah, these jerks. Lucky I didn't Columbine the whole school.
Yeah, Artie's like a real jock. You know what I mean? Artie played a lot of ball when he was younger.
Yeah, he knows about it too.
Who else?
Gary Goldman. He was.
Gary
jock?
Goldman went all the way to.
He did?
Yeah, he said he went to college, Boston College, and then he said he got hit playing football.
He played football?
Yeah,
college football. No kidding.
Yeah, but he quit. He said it hurts.
Yeah,
my whole body hurts. I'm done. Nick DiPaolo. Great athlete. When he was younger, played halfback, supposedly had phenomenal speed.
Really?
So it happens, yeah. But those are the kind of guys, like, when a jock starts to do stand-up, everyone's like, you're at the wrong place. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, suddenly they're the outsider.
This is not okay.
Do you think that's recent, or you remember that from, like, whenever you started?
I think it would... I think if you... Well, handsome guys have an uphill battle. You know? Not with agents.
Right.
or TV things, but
Or
with
just
the other
for me
comics.
respecting them.
Yes. It just doesn't work.
There's a playwright, Adam Rapp, who everyone was like really upset when he broke out because he was like immediately like, hey, this is for uncool people who can't socialize. And he was like an athlete, like a football player. He was handsome. He was tall. And then he just like was a really great playwright. Like, we don't want
Well, if
you,
you're
dude.
good
Like,
at it,
that's not okay.
I mean, I'll give it to you if you're good at it. Because number one, funny's got nothing to do with how smart you are or how much of a nerd or any of that nonsense. It's really its own kind of force. So I don't go by that. It was that I laugh at what somebody said. But I think a lot, especially now, like people that write about comedy or look at, they don't laugh. I mean, it's literally like a coolness. You know, like, well, of course I love such and so. Like, I know that person did not make you. I know for a fact you didn't laugh at that person. This is a political act for you. So that's how it is now.
There is them, and because they're comedy nerds, there are people who've studied comedy and studied writing, so they put that together. But that's totally different thing to being like that Colin Quinn street corner funny. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what real funny is.
I see that. I think they have a harder time. A lot of those, you know, like I always like Michael Lawrence. I remember telling that because he was like a real nerd. Like they would never. So Mike's always got his belly all the way extended. I've never seen a guy that doesn't suck his gut in ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Always a shirt that's not quite covering it. Yeah. You know, like that dude's a nerd. Like they don't. The nerds don't want him in their scene. They have to take him now, but they didn't like. He wasn't like, oh, you're cool with us. Like he's just funny and does a thing, and he's actually a real thing.
Yeah, he's a real thing. But you're talking like the alt comedy people where
they're
you're
like,
not at a club, you're some other strange
I
place.
saw all kinds of like hot girls with glasses that were like you know, showing up at the back in the day, showing up at the creek in the cave, hoping for a cup of Julian McCullough's sperm. I brought my little cup.
Kurt Metzger's in studio. He's performing May 31st at Howling Wolf in New Orleans, June 1st at Secret Group in Houston, June 3rd at Cherokee Casino in West Siloam, and Race Wars is available on iTunes.
Dude, thanks so much. We got
man.
to go now. You're the best, and you're very, very funny. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I gotta move. So I'm getting sick of the city, man. I really am. I'm getting like taxi drivered by this city.
Yeah. Well, you're ready to embrace LA and a whole new scene.
Just like a sun daytime. I want to just try it once.
All right, that's it for us. See you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!